Tale of Gillanor, Arc 9, A Requiem for Peace. Back on Haranu, Akira's Haranu's ghost has seen whatever has conspired inside the rather full chambers of the successors of Haranu.
We are already so far off the rails.
That's a little deep into the session, right?
And that was a start, I think.
You guys want me to do? You guys want me to do the summary?
You do the
Sure.
summary.
Yes,
Sorry, we
please.
love you, Rom, but
Just do it, please.
I mean,
Sorry, I'm trying.
Where the whole first minute and a half has been dedicated to Akira Haranu's ghost, so
Should we roll to see who should do it?
somebody.
All right,
it was worth it
Somebody,
just for that start.
anybody.
Okay. Last time on Heir of Haranu, well, we actually didn't open up with our characters at all. We opened up on the shores, or in the harbor of Yangshi, where there were a bunch of fake boats attacking the harbor. At some point, towards the very end, after all these fake boats had been sunk, a bunch of golems in the city started writing on the walls, and they were talking about Joni and how she's a pirate and how her father was an occultist. ? No, her father wasn't an occultist. Her sister and her mother are occultists. Present tense. And it also talked about our possible missions to Hanta, and about the mission to the loop. Meanwhile, back where we were, 30 hours later, we were in the Golden Palace, with Joni and a bunch of other people. Aiko Sotsu was there. So was Jay Sung-tan, somebody else whose name I can't remember. Oh, and
A bunch of
Okinsei.
folks.
The SSC. I made that character. I can't remember the name. Yeah, great. But yeah, we were talking about everything bad that happened. Shiruku said some stuff, and it wasn't a very good idea to say that stuff. Aiko said even less good idea stuff, and she just kind of walked out. And then there was something really important at the end of that. Oh, right, about the Komuso monks. That's when we learned about the Komuso monks requesting Fukuro and Shiruku specifically. Once we left, Fukuro and Shiruku kind of had a little mini quiet conversation about all the reasons or all the bad things about Joni, and Joni overheard them and said, all right, fine. You want to hear about that? Let's go to the museum. So we went to the museum. Oh, and the others peeled oranges, apparently, while we were doing that. Yeah.
And discussed a plan to have something of a demonstration of some of, like, maybe the less sensitive stuff being worked on at North Base in order to have good PR, and discussing that there might be a traitor among them.
festival.
And most importantly, peeling oranges. So after Fukuro had a little conversation with Joni, or Fukuro and Shiruku had a little conversation with Joni, she took the entire group to the Haranu Museum, but only took 3 of us down with her into the secret room. There's a secret room. Did you know there's a secret room? Yes, scurvy is... Look, Joni was a pirate. She knows about scurvy, all right?
True.
So we go downstairs, and there's a whole bunch of ancient relics and stuff. I was kind of AFK for this part because my computer crashed.
Uh-oh.
So what happened in there was we entered, and she essentially opened up, and she showed us that during the raid, this is the area that they're trying to break into, but they couldn't fully find because past the door with like all this mist and like stuff that could only be opened by the blood of the heirs. Like we entered and we found, like, obviously there's a whole bunch of like artifacts of assumedly her family line, but the most important thing was a whole area in the middle where like a pedestal for a certain crystal was, but it was empty. And assumedly, we found out during that Osu has one of the crystals, one of like the more dangerous crystals that Chengak also has. Chengak currently has two, because he stole one from the Komoso monks. Getting a little ahead of myself, but and yeah, Joni essentially let us know that like back in her day, like being kind of neglected from her family, being a bit of an outcast, learned a lot of what do you call it? The sword art starts with a K.
Kendo.
Kendo, there it is. She learned a lot of kendo, and one day when she was captured by pirates, like assumedly to, get a big bounty for them, she ended up joining them, and like, she learned that she was she kind of had a knack for pirating, so she took up that life until one day, they're looking for this interesting rare treasure, and while plundering this, I guess it was like a dungeon, right? All of her crewmates slowly started going insane, and eventually this whole expedition kind of ended in the death of her lover. I forget his name.
Keto the Fox.
Keto the Fox. Oh, I should remember the fox. And what's it called? It ended with his death, and one of the members of this crew getting away with the crystal, but eventually later down the line she heard that it sunk down to the bottom of the sea along with his ship. But somehow she assumes that Chengok got that crystal. We don't know how. We don't know if he has sirens under his belt who swam down and got it for him, but overall she kind of blames herself for Chengok having that power. And yeah, I don't know. Do you want to do the rest of it, Sip?
There was also the big reveal. We finally had the Book of Harry Kanto down.
All right.
I remember that much.
The Book of Harry Kanto. The fact that like we assume Harry Kanto had a part in finding Haranu, essentially, which is like, whew.
We can get into that later.
Yeah.
For now, we got outside. We went back up to the actual museum, not the secret underground place that you can only access by giving it blood. More specifically, the
Blood.
second's ass blood. Yes.
Ass blood.
Yes. Anyway, we went. Well, the other guys who weren't down there, who didn't get all this lore, were busy looking, through the Hall of Progress and the exhibition hall. Then, once the rest of us joined, we all went to the Hall of Death. And it was pretty creepy. And death. Learned a lot about occultism, too. Like, about the tree that all the occultists were buried near a tree. Or the tree grew where they were buried. And there's actually necromantic magic on it, which is creepy. After we do that, we decide we should go talk to those monks. Because monks.
Because monks?
Because monks. Also because they asked for us and it would be rude not to go, Look, we kidnapped one of their people. We basically held him hostage in a house in a frozen wasteland for, 2 days?
Yeah.
But anyway. Well, either way, we went to go talk to them, and when we got there, it took about half a day to get there, I think. The place was in ruins. The place was a wreck. Not quite in ruins, but it was pretty bad. It got attacked. Of course it was bad. But when we get to meet one of the monks, he silently, because they don't talk, takes us to meet their bodhisattva. Sort of. He kind of manifests as a bunch of crystals that look like a face. It's creepy. And he answered our questions, but very vaguely in kind of a Yun-Lo Omethysys way. Slightly more understandable than those two, but not really. We learned quite a few things about Lak. How he thinks Changok is a multitude, or there's a multitude of Changok. I remember that part. That part was the one that stuck in my head the most for some reason. And then it mentions the static engine in Jinrui being something strange or something. Yeah, because Fukuro pointed that out. And then we have a familiar face, sort of. I don't think any of us have actually met Brown Mage, have we? Only Loki did. But yeah, he was brought in to meet up with us. And that's where we left off.
That is indeed where we left off. It is now getting into late morning. There is the chill of winter in the air, but it seems like with these shallow hills on either side of you, it blocks most of the more serious drifts. Though you do see a few of these papery leaves, petals from the unseasonably blossoming cherry trees flit across this open stone walkway. Even though you can catch that faint, acrid scent of a lye, something that's been used to clean up, there still is unmistakably this charnel aesthetic to this whole place. This place reeks of death. It's hard to see how it could ever recover from what has struck upon it. And it is in this environment that you have come face to face with this tiger rider. He looks rough. His fur is patchy. He has this kind of a hangdog expression. He's not really making eye contact, sort of looking askance off to the side. He has these slouching shoulders that look more as if they're just sort of leaning against his torso than they look to be really held up. And he has this way of talking from the edge of his mouth, barely moving. You can faintly, only occasionally see his yellowed fangs. So, you're not cops, right? I don't do well with cops. I don't like talking to cops, but you're not cops.
No, we're not cops.
If we were cops, we wouldn't be allowed to tell you that we're not cops. Haven't you ever heard that?
Oh, yeah. You couldn't tell me if you're not cops. If you're cops, then you're not cops. Oh, you're not cops. What the hell do people call themselves?
Isn't the primary definition for cops military units?
Negative, Jin.
No.
Understood. Erasing previous data and replacing with new data.
Or law enforcement. We are technically not law enforcement.
So what do you call yourselves? Who are you?
Were we supposed to have a name? Shit, I'm bad at this.
We're
We-
friends of the monks. How about that?
Friends of the monks. Okay, yeah, I can live with that. The monks are weird, aren't they? They don't talk too much. Sometimes it feels like not enough people are talking, and then someone has to talk, so I've got to keep talking so that somebody's talking. Otherwise, nobody's talking, and that gets to be a problem for me.
Right.
Well, we talk, so why do you think? Do you have something to tell us?
Oh, well, I was here when it all went down. Yeah, it was a bad scene, real bad scene. Didn't like it too much. People dying, it's wrong. You see the light change. You can see them moving past, but they're different now.
I see.
You see, this place, it was full of death. And you. He kind of seems to focus in on Fukuro. So maybe it's just because Fukuro seems to be the main one talking to him, and he says, you know about death.
I have not died before, if that's what you're asking.
No, but you know about death. That's the thing. Everybody dies. What changes, what's different, is what comes after.
You mean Wait a minute. Do we believe in an afterlife? Do Easterners believe in the afterlife?
I'd say that's up to you. Probably a lot of Easterners don't, but some probably do.
So what do the Easterners think happens when you die? When you die, nothing happens.
I'd say that's up to you. There are probably a fair few who kind of link it to the Guardians. You know that maybe they'd go to the world uh, of the Guardians. Probably a lot of people also just think, nothing happens when you die. Or who knows? Maybe you're one of the Easterners who's found a missionary.
Maybe one of the Westerners should comment then.
Mister, are you referring to some sort of afterlife myth?
Afterlife. There's no such thing as an afterlife. It's life. It's life, and it's different. Depending on where you are, that life changes. There's still different kinds of things when you die. Maybe you'd call it life. Maybe you'd call it something else. Afterlife. That's a whole other thing. It seems like it's got a lot of baggage on it. I don't care for baggage. I don't keep a lot of baggage. Look at me. I don't have anything else other than what you see here.
Look, can you just get to the points already?
Let him take his time.
Were we talking about bags?
No, we're trying to talk
Bags.
about what exactly did you see last night? Did you see? Well, did you see these people steal from the monks?
Oh, oh. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You said everyone who died.
Yeah.
Could you perhaps elaborate?
So, there was the one in the front, the main one. He was unclean. Couldn't see me, though. I could see him. I could see there was a heart. There was something old. Two pieces pulling in different directions. By the time he left here, there were three of them. One of those pieces, it carried the color of this place. Not of this place. And he kind of stamps his foot onto the stone pavers of the Kamoso Enclave for emphasis. Not this place, but this place. And he kind of waves his arms wide in this all encompassing motion. Yeah, one of these pieces, it carries the color of this place. It carried the feel of it, carried the rhythm. He knew what he was seeking. His eyes were looking north. I could tell. Not all of them were the eyes in his face either.
So did the other two? You seem to be able to see the color of these things. Did the other two have any colors you recognized of other places?
Oh, colored sad, colored rage, colored id. It seems like a bad scene.
When you say that this main one was pulling in different directions, do you mean they were casting a spell that made them, I don't know, look like there's more than one of them?
No. There's one of them, but he got a lot of pieces that someone shouldn't have, pieces that none of you have.
Like extra limbs?
No. It's pieces. Sometimes I forget there are things other people don't see, and I used to not be able to see, but now I can see. I don't think they're pieces that you can see, unless maybe you can see some things. Don't talk to a lot of sirens. Sometimes sirens can see things, but you don't look like the kind of siren who sees things. That's just making an educated guess. I'm not very educated, but I like to guess.
How about you describe what these pieces looked like physically?
Physically, uh, they're uh, they sprawl. They are angry. They are shrewd. There's they have about so much intent in their masses is like this, and he makes an odd motion with his paw.
What? So you're saying that these things have got a mind of their own and they're trying to do some crazy shit?
It's one mind, but it's a lot of minds. It's extra minds, maybe. Came here with two, other than the sorts that you have, and left with three.
Right.
Ah.
I think he couldn't use all of them. I think that's why the eyes kept looking north.
So it took something from this place. There was a shard similar to the two it already had, and now it's looking north.
Why? What's north?
I don't. I, there are things north. I see lights in the north. They don't. People don't like it when I look too much at their lights. That's what it was like when I made my way out. They had me in a room for a while, but I think it made them uncomfortable when I saw their light. And so they put a couple of people shaped things on the outside of the room. They didn't have lights, so I couldn't bother them. He kind of squints towards Jin, kind of like you, but you've got a light. That's different.
So, who was keeping you in a room? Someone imprisoned you?
Oh, they said it was a hospital. They said they were helping me, but I mostly asked a lot of questions. There's too much talking. Could barely hear myself with how much talking there was. That was after I got out. I wasn't sure who I was for a while. Eventually, I got out of that second room. Then I came here. And they tried to help me. Went from too much talking to not enough talking. But I try to talk to fill it in as much as I can.
Huh. Could you please clarify for me this extra sight you have? Did you get that after your visit to the hospital or before?
No, this was before. This was before. The hospital, the doctors, the engineers, they found me. I think they wanted to know how to get into the place where I was. Jose didn't know how, but I had figured it out. Can't remember how I figured it out, but there was a guy. He told me he wasn't a cop. Maybe he was a cop, but I don't think he was a cop. He told me to figure it out, and then I figured it out, but I don't remember how I figured it out. And then I was down there. Yeah. Old ones, old machines, old engines, old things Deep ones, yeah. All down there. It's just part of an old scheme, an old machinery, an old way, an old purpose.
You have a gift for being simultaneously vague, but also quite revealing.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to explain it as clear as I can. Look, I'm telling you all the things that are in my mind right where they are. I'm not trying to move them into different places. If I did that, it could get broken.
Oh, we wouldn't
Right.
want that.
Right. Well, so you witness who we assume is Chenkok break into this place and murder many people, and then take something. He had two of it, and then he left with a third.
Yeah. That's right.
Did he not see you? Or were you just hiding?
Oh, no, he couldn't see me. I don't think someone like him can see me. At least if I don't want to be seen. Or maybe if he knew to look for me, then he would have, but he didn't know to look for me. So I didn't let him see me.
Little did we know, our range is John Cena.
Hmm.
Are you sure about that?
John Roy kind of plays a toot.
What did you say your name was again?
Yeah, Brown Mange. That's the name I go by. It's not the name my mama called me, but I don't like that name, Brown Mange. You could say it was kind of a nickname originally. Though my name was never Nick.
Yes, Brown Mage. Mange.
Yeah.
Freudian slip. Mind if I just take a look at you very quickly?
Yeah, I think you're looking at me right now. I can see your eyes, and I don't see any extra eyes. I don't see any extra faces.
Well, this isn't going to hurt a bit, theoretically. And he's going to cast Detect Magic. It's as a ritual, so the conversation can proceed for a bit.
All right, yeah, you start casting this as a ritual.
Oh, this place that these people wanted to get into, the people at the hospital.
Yeah.
Who sent you there? You said it was a person. Do you remember anything about them?
Yeah. Yeah, he had, he is, and he kind of points at this charred cherry tree and he says, "Hey, looked kind of like that, but less of a tree."
He looked like a burnt tree, but less of a tree.
Yeah. In fact, not a tree, but he looked like that.
You mean? Uh,
Uh,
you mean his skin? Oh,
huh?
nothing. No.
Huh?
Uh, eh. So, Mr. Mange, how long have you been here with the Komuso?
I've been here a little while. Not that long. I mean, it gets too long. Otherwise, I mean, things have happened over years, over centuries, and I haven't been here that long. But I've been here a while. There are things that people are trying to do, and those take a long time. The one with the shells, the one who tried to sink the island. Another island. Who is that?
Someone who tried to sink an island?
Well, I mean, there was that one Sunkan asshole who tried to blow up Yangshi, if I recall.
That's right. Yeah. 250 years since anyone's tried anything like that. And I haven't been here that long.
That's a very specific number of years.
I can be less specific.
Do I know what he's talking about, like 250 years ago?
I'll let you roll a history check, but I'll tell you right off the bat, probably not.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. Nah. Okay. So, wait. What are you talking about? What happened 250 years ago?
Oh, different things happen. Different things happen. Different machinery moves, and the people they like machines, and they like the ways that this place was built, the ways that the things under the ground, purposes, old purposes. I think that's what all those other faces were looking at.
Huh. 250 years ago. Interesting.
Did the what? Do you know if the people 200 years ago were similar to the one who you saw yesterday?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I think it's. And he sort of squints and furrows his brow, and then he looks right at Musaka and says, I think they're more like you. Yeah, more like you. I can only see a little bit. They're not things that I remember. It's things that someone else remembered for me.
Like me, like sirens?
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah.
Huh. So, are you talking about the people 250 years ago, or are you talking about the people the other night?
No. Not the one who was unclean. And not any of the ones with him, and not any of his faces. No. A long time ago.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
She's just kind of just staring off the side, arms crossed, just kind of tapping her foot with an incredulous look on her face.
Yeah, I think okay. Misoka wants to try one thing. She kind of looks up at Kuro and just says, let me try something real fast. I wanna try to get a visual of this. I don't know if detect thoughts would let me see physically like any like visions of that he's seen before, but I want to try just to cast a detect thoughts and see if I could like poke in his brain and get any kind of information that's like a little more clear. I don't know.
So, just going by like the initial surface thoughts at first, you try to tap into this unsettled Tiger Rider's psyche, and you don't see anything clear. You don't see anything cohesive. The visual you get is almost like as if you see smoke that occasionally seems to very vaguely coalesce into different forms, but forms that are lost too quickly before you even have the chance to discern what they are. His mind is smoke, at least on the surface.
What a
Be
So-
careful you don't break him.
no. Of
So,
course. Not.
while she's doing this, I guess Fukuro will continue asking him questions. Was anything else? Or I'm sorry. Did they take anything else aside from the third thing?
The third thing. Oh, the other face. Yeah. Didn't take anything, didn't take too much, no. They took one of the monks. And I don't know what they did with him.
Was it?
Maybe they ate him.
Was he an important monk or just a monk?
I don't know. They've all got the same kind of light, different from the one in you. I have trouble telling them apart.
Is the other monk still in this room with us?
No.
No, he's not here. Okay.
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. This other monk who led you here is just sort of. You're not really in a room. You're actually sort of in this like open pagoda thing terrace that doesn't really have walls. More of just this vaunted roof over the main display case that contains the remains of the Bodhisattva, and off to the side, standing a fair distance from your conversation, is the monk who led you here.
And tell me, Mr. Mange, you've been here for a while, probably not too long, maybe a year, probably less than a year.
Yeah, probably.
Did you come here? How did you end up here after you left the this hospital? Did they find you?
I know. I got sick of being there. They kept talking to me, kept asking me. They wanted to know what I found out. They wanted to know how I got in there and how I got out and what was inside. And it was too much. It was too much. And there were all these ones. They didn't like that I could see their lights, that I could see those lights changing. Not the ones who talked to me, but other places. So eventually I got out, and I ran, and then I was here.
What kind of hospital was this? It sounds odd.
That's because it is.
Was it something... Just throwing a guess, do you think it might have been the League of Excellence?
No. I don't think so. No.
But you don't have any names or places in your mind.
Yeah. It was over there. And he just points off towards the east.
But
I think Fukuro kind of pulls Shiruku aside for a second and whispers in his ear, "He was at North Base."
how do you know that?
I may have watched him escape and failed to capture him.
Oh, great job. Good to see the old SSC is still doing its job as good as it always has.
Fukuro sticks his tongue out. Back to the conversation.
Right, that's sorted then. That's cleared up for me.
So, how far along am I on this ritual?
Oh, yes, of course. So that's probably popped off by now. And you can see it's kind of harder to detect magic in creatures than it is like an object. And so it's actually, why don't you go ahead and just roll an intelligence for me to see how well you decipher this.
I was so hoping you'd say Arcana there. Okay, intelligence.
Yeah, it's decent. You are able to pick out that, yeah, there is definitely some kind of a heightened magical sense about him. Almost gives off the impression as if there's maybe some kind of a spell that's cast on him, but it's not quite that. Mostly you can't recognize it, though you do pick up a very faint trace of some kind of necromancy.
Okay. Have I ever read anything or studied anything about the like the magics of of seers, if there's like any, just sort of spitballing here, if there's like any similarities there, like seers, or any sort of people with foresight, if that makes sense.
Go ahead and roll Arcana. This does not seem like that. You've encountered seers. You've encountered those who kind of have these innate gifts, usually things that they're born into. This feels like something different, and I think even just from the way that his mind is so addled, it feels apparent that it's something that was too strong for him, something that wasn't that he had no innate control over.
I see. That's interesting. And since the detect magic is on, do I sense anything from the Bodhisattva fragments?
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Those have a much more intense magical signature. Again, the strongest magic there is something you cannot fully that you cannot understand. It does not fit into any of the established schools, though there is some transmutation magic in there. And actually, as you turn around to those shards, you can see that it's no longer animated. It's no longer floating in this human-like form with that purple cloth forming almost a robe. The cloth is back, sort of inert, rumpled on the bottom of this display case with these gold crystal shards on top of it.
Okay.
I talked to the Bodhisattva once. It's a weird word, Bodhisattva. It's got a lot of syllables. Sometimes I don't do too well with all the syllables, but sometimes the good syllables are good. A word with a lot of syllables like onomatopoeia. I like to use onomatopoeia like pow, bang. There's not a lot of occasion for that. But what the Bodhisattva said is that I somehow could shield myself from the 1,000 visages due to the power I've encountered. And I think that's pretty fortunate. I think I might have looked out there.
Is this power that you've encountered, was it given to you by these people at this hospital?
Oh, no. They wanted to know about it. They wanted to know what it came from. And I don't think it was really given to me either. I think I just went looking, and then I got lost, and then I kind of stumbled into something, and there it was. I don't think I really have power. Just sometimes I can see things. I can see lights in you. I can see lights around this place. I can see lines, old lines drawn a long time ago.
What do these lights look like? Like any colors? Any? Is it bright?
Yeah,
Is it around us?
sometimes they're golden. Sometimes they're light. Sometimes they're teal, and they're round. Always round.
Where are these lights? Where's my light?
Oh, it's right there.
Is he pointing or something? Or
Just kind of pointing at you, pointing, right into your sternum.
a sternum? Okay. Like around my heart area.
I don't think it's really that. But it's something. It's something.
Do most people have these lights?
Yeah. Most of them do. In my experience, not that I'm very experienced, but I've seen experiences, and usually they do.
Would you say that it would be very uncommon for someone not to have it.
Yeah. It would be pretty weird. But the Bodhisattva doesn't have one.
Well, he is
Ah,
a floating face.
What could this like be? You said Jin Roy had one.
Yeah.
Well,
And have you seen any these different colours? Has there been any patterns or reason behind them? Different personalities, different backgrounds, different. Well, what determines the light? Do you think? The color, I mean.
I think at that his brow just furrows and his jaw hangs open slightly as he looks at you for about 30 seconds before finally darting his eyes away and kind of looking askance at the ground again.
So our lights, are they all the same color?
They don't really have colors. It's not that kind of a thing, but every one of them is different. Every one of them is different, but they're all the same. Say yours are all different, but the same. Yeah. Though his is more different than most of yours. And he points towards Jin.
that is strange.
kind of makes sense as to why it's different, at least. Well,
Um,
that is.
Out of character, where I presume I picked this up. Where on the golem is the static engine located?
I'd say right in the center of the chest. Unless Jin has an objection to that.
I mean, it makes sense.
So it's a bit lower than on a human, would you say? Or is it roughly in the same place?
Like relative
probably
to where he
same
was
place.
pointing on Musoka?
Yeah.
I think you'd probably, with how he's acting and his motions, pick up enough to get the impression that he wasn't really actually pointing to a specific spot in her chest and more just sort of to her person.
Right.
You also mentioned a little while ago lines, lights and lines.
Yeah, lines all around this place. Circles.
But these aren't attached to people, huh? They just start floating around?
No. The circles would run through most of the time, some of the time.
Do you see any circles now?
No, not really here. This isn't part of a circle, though they like to look at the circles. Or maybe they listen to the circles. Yeah, that's it. They listen to the circles.
Who listens to the circles?
Or the ones here. They don't talk much.
The monks.
Yeah.
I see. And these circles, are there a pattern to them?
Probably most of the time. Circles, they're kind of a pattern, aren't they? You draw a curved line. You draw that line by itself. It's just a line. You draw it all around, then it turns to a circle. You don't want it to be an oval. You want it to be a circle.
Do they overlap?
Yeah, sometimes.
When was the last time you saw a circle?
He kind of furrows his brow. And then he gets down onto his knees and draws a circle on the ground on sort of a patch of dirt nearby the shrine, and he says, "Ooh, there's one."
But that's not exactly the same thing, is it?
No, but it is a circle. That's basic geometry. I said I haven't had much education. I didn't go to school for a long time, but I at least learned that. You can't tell me that's not a circle. I won't be gaslit about this. Not again.
No. no. That's
Can
a
I
circle.
inspect the
That's a circle.
circle?
Well,
Can I
you know,
inspect to see if it looks more like an oval?
technically, mathematically, there is no such. Never mind.
Again.
So, but magic, the circles you see in your mind rather than on the dirt. What about those? Did you see any of those recently?
Floating in the air.
No, not floating in the air. There were a lot of circles around the hospital. And I remember when I was underneath, when I was down below, I could tell there were circles in the north. Yeah, lots of circles in the north. Even a couple of circles in the south. Less circles in other places, though.
North. You have a lot of references to the north.
I can talk about another direction if you want. You want to talk about what's to the west? There's a lot of water to the west. All kinds of water. I don't think you could drink that water even if you were real thirsty.
No, it would probably just make you more thirsty because there's salt in it. That's not my point.
Is there something different about the circles to the north than the circles to the east? Or the circles around the hospital?
I think all of the circles are different. Every circle's different. But the ones to the north are more the same, and the other ones are different.
They're more similar up north than they are down here? Like they're more chaotic down here?
Sure, yeah, why not?
I don't know what these circles mean. Usoka like rubs her head.
You're telling me I'm having trouble following what the fuck this guy's talking about.
Is there anything relevant we can still ask this person?
I think we're only gonna be getting more riddles at this point. Look, we got the point that the bastard took a thing that it would be bad if he had more of, and we need to stop him from getting the more of the thing and maybe probably kill him before he's not killable anymore. And that's why this whole mission thingy's important. That's the TLDR here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Engines make supermen, but it takes a real con to chain a monster.
What?
Well, fascinating. Truly fascinating.
There's smoke where you're going.
Smoke? What do you mean by that?
How do you know?
Have
where we're
you
going?
considered the position of an oracle? I think you would be quite suitable for that role.
You mean those bullshitters from the west?
Yes.
Oh, not all of them are full of so much shit, really. At least I've heard of one.
You know my feelings on that matter, Fakuro.
Oh, this one isn't a fortune teller.
I think it would be best at this point if we stopped harassing this guy. Let's get back. I think we got what we need.
Yes. One more thing, Mr.
I was also going to say one more thing, so I suppose that's two more things.
Go ahead.
This hospital you were in, did you see any equipment? Could you perhaps describe some of the equipment?
Or the environment?
You want to know about equipment? Most of them were wearing clothes. Yeah.
Okay, but did they do something to you? Like, did they stab you with anything? Poke you with anything?
It poked me a little bit. Not too much, though. Mostly they talked at me. Yeah.
Did they restrain you? Or were you allowed to move around freely?
Sometimes. Usually I could move, though. But they said, wanted me to stay in the room. They said I could, it would be dangerous for me not to stay in the room. Said that they told me I was sick. Maybe I was sick, but I got tired of being sick. So I decided to stop being sick. And when I decided to stop being sick, I thought, well, now I didn't have to stay in the room.
Well, shit, if only if we're that easy.
Yes, well, they say you should always obey quarantine. It stops the spread of the virus. Wait, what?
What virus?
Well, there's a virus going around in the West, in Kandarin. That's our America, right? Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about that. Well, luckily it hasn't spread over here.
Oh,
But
no, it
either way,
started here in the East, remember?
it did?
Can we not?
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, no more. We go.
So, yeah, Peyton got his thing out of the way. Fukuro kind of pulls Brown Mange aside a little bit. Look, whatever you do, or whatever you're thinking of doing, stay here with the Komuso, and absolutely do not speak to any Vanguard. Understand?
Do not speak to any. Okay. They're cops.
Pretty much.
All right, but you're not cops.
Technically, no.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't like talking to cops. I had enough of cops. All right, I'll stay here. Won't talk to any cops. Good night, monk friends.
Night.
Good night, you crazy bastard.
Looks at the sky. Sees it's like 2 p.m. or some shit.
Wasn't it morning?
Look, I've pulled a number of all-nighters. I ain't gonna judge a fricker for his sleep schedule.
Alright, let's go.
Fukuro looks at Bijutsu. You have sleep schedules?
Oh, right, yeah, that's a social construct.
What? No, it's not. It's healthy for you.
Yeah, in theory. Unfortunately, well, that tends to get screwed up in school.
Oh, man. Listen, tonight I'm gonna help you get a full night's sleep, okay?
Well, I mean, if you can try fixing it, I ain't gonna stop ya.
Yeah. I guess. So, I'm assuming Brown Mange leaves, or has left.
Yeah, he sort of shuffles off again, just keeping his head almost trained in the same position. His eyes not really focused on anything.
I guess Fukuro turns back towards the Bodhisattva. If it's still there.
Right now, it's gone back to the way it was when you first arrived. It's sort of just a scattering of these gold-hued crystals atop this rich purple fabric inside of this glass case.
And the monk who brought us here is still just off to the side.
Mm-hmm. It seems to just kind of be standing at attention, but at least from the body language, does not seem to be focusing in on your conversation, does not seem to be visibly eavesdropping.
Fukuro kind of motions the group further away from the Bodhisattva thing and from that monk anyway. All right. We just keep a secret, right?
I mean, I have to for my job, don't I? I don't want to get fired.
Yes, I suppose this would count as for your job. And Peyton, I'm trusting you because Alcana trusted you. And Musaka, Joni trusted you.
You can trust me. And
What about me, Fukuro?
Of course I trust you, Sharuku. That wasn't even a question.
Just wondering.
That brown mange there is not the first time I've met him. Or, well, first time I've seen him, I should say.
Ah, yes,
Where have you seen
you
him?
mentioned.
Six. How many months ago was this actually? The North Base incident?
Oh yeah, that was a while ago, because that was the the Isle of Juniper group's return and the first time skip. So yeah, almost a year ago.
Around about a year ago, probably a little less. I was stationed in North Base as a guard. One night I was patrolling with Miru, and, well, Miru noticed something. A figure moving away from the base. It appeared to have escaped from North Base. I couldn't really do anything. It was pretty fast, far ahead, but I did catch a glance of that figure. A tiger rider. Now I realize that looking at him from the back, it was him.
He was escaping from North Base? Wait, so this hospital base, do you think that's what he's talking about?
Presumably.
Well, shit.
What were they looking into him? What were they doing in there?
Joni still does not tell us everything, it seems.
Yeah, I already picked that up from a mile away.
How far away is this North Base?
I believe there's more that you should hear. This is only a guess, but Shuruku. When I asked him who hired him to look into this place that he ended up getting into, and he pointed to the tree, do you think he was referring to the skin of the person who hired him?
Perhaps, or maybe they just smelled like charcoal.
Well, I asked them what they looked like, not what they smelled like.
True.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm not reading your mind at this moment, but are you perhaps thinking of someone who looks like that?
Yes, a mutual friend of ours, who we do know had come to Haranu for his own reasons.
What mutual friend do you have that looks like a burnt cherry tree?
Fukuro looks at Peyton, then realizes Peyton didn't meet Logi either, because the whole point was that he was Logi's replacement. Ah, shit.
Wait,
You guys have done some hella weird networking, is what I'm picking up here.
Yeah, Loki was pretty odd.
There was a friend of ours who may also have dabbled in, I don't want to say the occult, strange magics. And the description, at least of the skin, seems to match him. He was here on Haranu. He had his own reasons for being here on Haranu. He never told us what they were. Maybe he was looking into this place for some reason.
Huh. And what did you say his name was?
Logi?
Logie.
He wasn't with us when we did your trial.
Okay, so yeah, doesn't ring a bell to me. Sorry.
Mosoka, I'll let you roll a history check because you were stationed in the Iron Terrace at the same time that Logi was there.
All right.
I'll say, this conversation goes on and he's pointed out, you would have noticed with how unusual Logi's appearance was, a dwarf here in the East. You probably did see him. I'm not sure if you really met him, or other than maybe very briefly in passing, but you do vaguely remember, a newly promoted captain who was briefly uh, steering a desk at North Base. I mean, not North Base, at the Iron Terrace.
Oh, wait a minute. Is he a dwarf?
Yes.
Did he have like kind of bright orange hair?
Yes.
Oh, wait. I think I remember him. I never really spoke with him though.
What I think, however, this place that our adult friend went to, it does not seem to be a target of Changok's. At least not immediately.
No, I doubt it. It's probably, though he did say that he didn't have these abilities until after going there, didn't he? He said it was before the hospital, but only shortly.
Yes.
Hmm.
Is it
Yeah.
possible wherever he went, he developed these abilities somehow?
He also went insane.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if he. I mean, he must have went insane when he got these abilities, huh?
I think I would too.
1 out of 10 would not recommend.
Right. Well,
Something.
I would think about going back and asking him, but honestly, I don't think we're gonna get a great answer.
No, at this point, we've got a lot of vague crap that we're probably just going to have to fit onto stuff that sounds vaguely familiar, and then hope to whatever the frick that we get something coherent out of all of it. Because on the one hand, I feel like it's kind of important, but on the other hand, what the fuck?
There is one thing that I have been thinking about. This is, I believe, the first time it's been mentioned that Chengok has 2 of these shards in his possession. Well, now 3, but he had 2. And this seems strikingly similar to something we saw in his office quite a while ago. It was... Pardon?
You're referring to. That's right, the paper. It had
Yes.
written in it twice.
And it had Hanto, which we know is the location of another one of these shards.
Which
And
means
it had 2 filled-in sections.
Question mark.
I think we should talk to our basket-headed friend here. Like, if the Komoso have 2 of these, then... well, that would be another one of Changok's targets.
Indeed. So I guess we're going to go talk to the monk now, or we're going to talk and the monk will nod at us.
Yeah, you approach this monk who has just stayed there stoically. At this point, there is this very light, almost misty rain beginning to fall. You find yourselves huddling a bit more under the eaves of this shrine to stay out of it.
So, friend, can I call you a friend?
No response, just the basket aimed towards you impassively.
I am going to assume that's okay then. Just shake your head if it's not. We are curious about, well, the locations of these shards that Changok is seeking. I know they're of some importance to you. You came to Kamishima to get one after all. But, well, it would be good for us to know something about them as well. Or something about their location, because their location is what Changok is seeking. And Shiruku looks around. You are in no state to be going out against him, at least for now. Well, are there other... well, actually, does Shiruku know this? Are there other enclaves of Komoso, or is this the main one?
The Komoso are scattered sort of all throughout the Wushankos, you've never known them to actually like have a base, have a home. As far as you've ever seen them, they've always been kind of itinerant. So you're not really sure if there are more of these bases or if this is the only one.
Does your order have more gathering places around the Wushankos, or was this a critical blow to you?
There's kind of a half nod in response.
So is it possible that we could rely on getting help from others of your order against Chengok?
There's visible hesitation. Then he just picks up the flute and plays this low, long, almost mournful note and puts it away again.
I assume that is a no.
Well, mournful. Are the others... this is difficult without talking. But...
What? Yeah, no shit.
how about a different line of questioning then? Was the shard that... Well, you knew of Fukuro and me. Was the shard that Changok stole, was that the same one you recovered from Kamishima when a member of your order encountered us?
There's a nod.
Right. It is good to know that, at least. And, well, we have reason to believe, from Changok's own documents, that he believes that another shard rests somewhere in your order. And, well, that might be one of his targets. Do you know of this?
Takes out the flute and in the now dampening sand writes out in a more archaic dialect of Wushanko, but still readable to you, a single character that means gone.
You had it, but it is gone.
A nod.
And I assume you don't know where it is.
Hesitation and a much slower half nod.
Well, if you don't know where it is, then Changok does not know where it is. That at least is a good thing. At least the last time he wrote it down, he thought it was still with you. But well, that still leaves one unaccounted for, if I get my count right. He has 3. One is missing. One is on Hanto. But he does not know where the last one is. Apparently. I suppose you don't either, otherwise you would have gone and collected it. Am I right?
Curt nod.
Right. Well, it appears then that our aim is as the same as it was. That we'll be going to protect the shard at Hanto. That appears to be our only... Well, that appears to be the only one that Changok has any knowledge of. And,
Actually, now that I think about it, didn't that piece of paper also say about the islands that reflect the moon? It was listed on there.
It did, but it was scratched out and relabeled as Komoso.
Interesting. I wonder. He looks at the Komuso monk. Did your order recover that shard before or after Sun Khan went a little cuckoo? Was it before?
Staring.
But Fakuro, the shard they recovered was on Kanoka, in the possession of, well, not the islands that reflect the Moon Embassy.
Well, if it was crossed out and then written over with Komuso, I assume it was on the islands that reflect the moon and then taken by the Komuso.
That might be referring to the lost shard then. Because we know where the pizzle was. You know, it seems even more, what is the word? Well, I was trying to think of a better word, but it seems very stupid of them to just put it in their lobby. I'm not sure why they wanted to just put a shard of somewhat questionable power in the middle of their waiting room. Inside a rhino penis? But I don't know.
I
why
mean,
these things
if you
happen.
hide something in plain sight, people are gonna stop thinking that it's even anything at all.
True.
Well, apparently not. Yeah, some random teenager kidnapped it. They kidnapped the rhino penis. They stole it.
Well, I
Yes.
assume that they did that because it looked shiny and they could sell stuff on it. They didn't know that there happened to be some, like, evil occultic voodoo thing inside.
Well, we don't know if they knew. I overheard myself from I guess one of the leaders of the League of Excellence that the league itself was unsure of whether the girls knew the true nature of the item, but they were drawn north by it. That is for certain. It seems, well, the other strange person who retained the shard after them, they were also pulled northwards. But I guess turning to the monk again. So, as I said, we are going to Hanto. Perhaps we could recover the shard, or perhaps we can simply stop Changok from getting his hands on it. Now, this aligns quite well with your mission, so if there is any help you can provide, even in your current state, it could be the difference between Changok getting his hands on it and, well, not.
You see this monk sort of become less rigid, perhaps for the first time, and look around the ruined grounds of this Komoso enclave. Shoulders sag. See the head dip down slightly. Four walks away from you. Through the rain, it eventually disappears up one of these many small winding walkways that seem to go between these hills and various small natural springs. Then a minute later, you hear this low, deep bronze bell. You see, an oversized bell, probably about 1.5 meters tall. It's in its own sort of little mini pagoda on top one of these hills that he's dong rung. And after that, you see another person, another one of these Komoso monks. This one, slighter figure. Looks like she is probably, a teenage girl or a very or a very slight figured 20-year-old, but comes out with this bag, just a cotton bag, and sort of gives a low bow and holds it out to you.
By you, do you mean Shiruku, I guess?
Yeah, to Shiroku.
Okay. I guess Shiruku, he bows in return, and I guess he takes it. He slowly takes it and looks inside, because asking what's inside won't do anything.
You look inside, and you see it is a flute. Uh, Looks like it's a similar proportion to theirs, but it has been made out of this single piece of this deep black bamboo. You're not even sure you've seen a bamboo this color in the wild. It has these occasional small yellow flecks in it, but it is very clearly, it's not dyed, it's not treated. It is this, yeah, very immaculate, sort of perfectly shaped, free of any blemish section of bamboo. And it has these notches around the edge of it, sort of on the thickness of it. They almost look like little runes. You don't know what it means, but you get the sense that this is something kind of portentous.
Hmm. Are both of the monks here, or has just the younger one come down, and the older one is still up there?
Yeah, it's another minute, but the older one, the first one who led you here, does rejoin you. And actually, the one who brought the flute, probably she walks off pretty soon unless you stop her.
Might as well keep talking to the one we have been speaking to, unless anyone wants to talk to the other one.
I think she just came to give you the flute, really. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we could keep the conversation to this one.
So,
What's that?
yes, this looks... Well, it looks important, but I guess we do need to know what it is, so we don't misuse it in some way.
Takes out his own flute, and again, in the now damp sand, writes out a single character, again in an archaic dialect of Wushanko. And this character, this particular one, it sort of has multiple meanings. Probably its most common meaning is power. But you know that this character can also be used for chi.
Right, it is... Well, it is magical. That's much, I think, seemed clear. Is this a case of something that you blow or play when you need aid to call on someone?
Gives a nod.
So don't go playing it willy-nilly then.
A little bit of a pause this time, but finally a nod.
And can it only be used once?
Shakes his head in the negative.
So it can be used many times.
A slightly more tentative nod.
So
Should he only use it when we're in danger?
He gestures out, sort of towards Shiraku. So you probably get the sense as he's indicating almost that it's that's up to Shiraku's discretion.
I think he's saying it's up to you.
if you want, I could use my magic to analyze it, and we won't have to play this mind game.
That'd actually be pretty nice.
Let's just leave that until later. We don't. Well, that's maybe disrespectful. I'm unsure. That's Western magic.
I look at the monk. Does he look like he'd be particularly offended if we started using detect magic around here?
I already did that like 3 times.
Yeah, I already used detect magic.
Or
Yeah.
what about identify? Well, I guess we'll just ask. Can we use some identification magic to get a better feel for this? No offense, but you must understand your way of communicating leaves something to be desired.
The monk pauses for a second and kind of makes a motion like he's about to take the flute back.
Okay.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Okay. Okay, as I said, no disrespect meant. It was just a simple yes or no question. If you do not desire us to do that, then we will not. We want to cooperate with you.
Sort of pauses and lets go of it, lets you hold on to it. And then he writes another character in the sand. This old character, its simplest meaning is treasure, but it also means heirloom, and it also means memento. You get the sense that this is indicating that this is something of deep, almost personal importance for the monks.
Right.
This flute.
I was getting that feeling. Right. I understand that this is a matter of great trust, and, well, I suppose we wouldn't ask for it if the matter was not so dire.
I'm sure we don't need to do anything with it. I'm sure once we're down the line of our journey, we'll figure out when we're gonna play it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well,
I don't know.
if Changok appears, we will play it. How
Sure.
does that sound? Looking at the monk.
Just gives kind of a half bow.
Right.
All right,
and
then.
we will endeavor to return it to you. Well, if we are successful. If we are not successful, I fear we
Yeah.
have greater things to worry about.
Yeah, it seems to. You get the sense from the body language that he accepts that.
Right. Thank you again, then. It is good to see that there is some kinship between us at this time. That we are united against something else. Well, but are we done here? Looking around.
I suppose so.
Sounds like it.
Thank you very much for all the information you provided. Talk to them.
So, as you all kind of begin to file out, he leads you through these winding paths back towards the entrance to the enclave. You make your way down, back through the lightly misted forest, eventually to the waiting barge, which takes you a few hours back down the coast to the Iron Terrace. I'm going to go ahead and change the card here. Now, the Iron Terrace itself, it is a completely square structure, essentially a walled city. It is resting on top of this coastal plateau And as you arrive, there is this heavy marine layer that almost gives this place the illusion, the appearance of sitting in the clouds with these vaunted tiled roofs kind of peeking up over the edges of the wall. The wall itself is quarried stone, but it's clear that most of it is new quarry, newer stone, newer construction, even though in several places you can see the foundations that have a much more aged, weathered look, similar to some of the old structures you see dotted here and there throughout Haranu. At the center of the Iron Terrace, it is dominated by this high tower. Actually, a design very similar to the Judge's Spire. And from it, there are multiple lines, uh, about two in each of four directions, that you can see stretching lost into the haze extending from atop the surface of the ocean that you know run to each of the four spires of Ran. As you pull into the docks and are escorted back into the city, only about a third of the Iron Terrace is actually dedicated to the military base proper, because most of it, the remaining two-thirds, is really a functional small town. It's dedicated to housing the family members, dedicating to housing the services, the life that supports Haranu's large garrisoned army. There are a lot of small families strolling the streets of this sleepy town, the small cherrywood shops. But this is where you find yourself now, getting into the afternoon. You have been informed that tomorrow in the morning, your ship will be ready, loaded with the siege implements you've requested, to take off for your trip to Hanto. But for now, you have perhaps your last respite before your big journey.
How long is it to get to here from Yangshi and back? Or just to Yangshi, I guess?
It's a few hours.
Okay.
Let me figure that out exactly.
The young notes.
Uh, yeah, it's about, if you were to take the overland route and then take one of the barges down the Lanhe all the way to Yangshi, then you could probably get there in a little less than half a day.
Probably wouldn't be able to make it there and back in a timely manner since it's already the afternoon.
Uh, you could. You just might, might need to find a cart you can hire that's willing to take you through the night while you sleep it off in the back.
Oh, and by the way, just because I did hear Peyton ask where North Base was while we were still at the Enclave, I think Fukuro would have pointed out which direction it is from the Enclave, whatever direction that is.
I can take us to the to the Haranu map real quick.
Sure.
Wait, where's the? There it is.
I see.
So yeah, Fukuro would have told him it's in the general that way direction, which is east, which is exactly where Brown Mains was pointing. Go figure.
And here we are.
Oh, the Twilight Vale. That's a cool name for a place. I didn't notice that before. Sounds like the name of something on the Spirit Plane.
Is
And anyway, I have to look at my notes really quick, and then I'll do something for this in between.
Hmm. So Fukuro is interested in going to Yangshi.
Not really. I was just curious. Like, if it were something I could easily do, yeah. But if it's like, oh, you might have to hire a card or something or whatever. Nah.
Hmm.
Besides, we're in the Iron Terrace. We're at Vanguard Central.
Yeah, true. Well, I guess on arriving, can Shuriku ask that if what's his name, the SSC commander Endo Kinsei, if he's come back here? Because I assume his office is here. He's a Vanguard person.
I think his office is in Yangshi, actually.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, I think you know that he's usually based in Yangshi.
That's why I was asking about going there, actually.
Can we spend a foresight so he's taking a trip here?
Well, actually, it's funny you should say that, because as you ask about this, maybe you inquire once and you get the word that they're not sure exactly where he is, but they can send him a message. But as you come by later in the evening, you hear that he's actually just come in. But that may be something that happens in the future. Does anything happen for any of you guys in the intervening hours between now in the afternoon and later on in the evening?
So, how long would it take to get to North Base from the Iron Terrace?
From the Iron Terrace. Oh, so you guys have plans. Let's see.
We got to this one place, but all we want to do is go to other places.
It's more than a mile, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, let's see. It's let me double check. Let me double check the D&D travel time.
Hold the notes.
We are making him make all sorts of calculations that he never wanted to make.
Yeah, we can.
So,
All right. What the hell? Sorry, I'm looking at this on Roll20, and it. There we are. It had like a hyperlink for travel pace, which has always been part of the SRD on here, and it tried to take you to Saltmarsh and say, buy this whole thing if you want to know what the basic travel pace is.
We didn't play the win.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's at a normal pace. Well, you could probably do a fast pace here, though it is over difficult terrain since there's not a direct road. So let's say that's 2 miles. So yeah, it would take you traveling as quickly as you can, about 2.5, 3 hours to do a march from here, the Iron Terrace, to North Base.
Okay. That seems doable. Um. I think Peyton will talk to Musuka.
Yeah. And Musaka's around, so yeah. Hey, what's up?
I have concerns.
Yeah, the same. Well, why would you go first?
The more I hear about this North Base, the less I like it. This hospital and the rumors, although probably exaggerated by these golems.
Yeah, when I didn't mention it earlier, but when I did a detect thoughts spell on him, it was weird. His mind was like, it was almost like looking in a room of smoke. It was almost blocked off. Like I couldn't even get a read on him. I'm trying to think of. I thought they only really performed, you know, golem testing there. I didn't think they did anything strange. Oh, why?
Hmm.
I am a little worried about that. There's so much going on.
Are you sure? Hmm. Are you sure the Khan is to be trusted?
Yes, I'm very sure. I know a lot about Joni actually, and I do think that she's trustworthy. I'm sorry. I know you're from the West and you're unfamiliar about Haranu, but believe me when I say I definitely trust Joni. Although I do want to know what's happening at North Base now. I wonder. I mean, obviously Fukuro and Shiragu wouldn't know, or else they would have told us. But
Hmm.
I definitely think no matter what, there is gonna be a moment where we investigate, but I don't think we should do it alone. Um, I was gonna actually ask Fukuro about that later on. Um, there's yeah. Uh, if you don't mind, I just wanna look at something real fast, and then I might have to talk to you about something.
Huh. I see. Well, you should prepare yourself quick. I'm planning to leave within the hour
To where?
to North Base.
What? By yourself?
If that's what it takes.
Wait, hold on. It's a giant. It, it, it's owned by. Uh, you can't just go there. You know what I mean?
Can't I?
No, you can't. When does that simply walk onto North Base? It's like
Musvakar, if there's even a minuscule chance that whatever they're doing there has anything to do with um
wait. You think that has something to do with the cloak consultants? Oh,
it did seem curious.
yeah. Can I tell you something else? It's it's a little off topic and not very off topic. It's related to North Base, but um listen, if I tell you something, you have to promise to not tell anyone else in the Vanguard.
I see. Or I hear.
Right. Well, um okay, well, a few nights ago, do you remember when we were having drinks with the general at that bar?
Yes.
I when I was pulled aside by that friend and when you pulled me aside, I actually was bothered about something. I Whew, okay, this is hard to explain. So, do you remember my friend Jakku who helped me with the Vanguard training?
Vaguely.
Right. Well, he's one of my good friends, and I think, well, last time I spoke to him, I knew that he was working up at North Base. And the thing is, right now, I can't exactly get in contact with him because. Okay. So, there's multiple siren coves, and one of them is a cove called the Yingwulo. And, well, essentially it's kind of one of the biggest siren coves, and one day they tried to even wine dine me and get them to join, but I declined. But it seems like my friend Jakku didn't decline, and he he offered to be one of their spies.
I see.
And but the thing is, they I'm so mad at them for this. They sent him on a mission to spy on Joni's enemies, essentially. I'm assuming somewhere around Renbo. And, well, it, he hasn't come back. And, well, when one of the sirens that worked for the Yingluo, Yume, talked to me, she she gave me something. Hold on. She rummages through her bag. I can't believe I forgot about this. And she pulls out that canvas bag that she gave to her, and you know what? Like, she looks around before opening it, but she pops it open.
So I believe that she told you that it had what, macaroons or something. She said it was some kind
Yeah.
of baked good.
Yeah, but
And
like,
as
she's
you
very
open
specific.
it, yeah, open it at first. The first thing you see are indeed. I don't think it was actually macaroons, but let's just retcon it. It was macaroons. A series of macaroons that they have kind of that sheen on them when they sit out for too long, and you know they're kind of stale and they won't be that great. But you can see that it's almost like a false top to the bag, or not exactly a false top, but more of like a net or something that holds it. And as you pull that aside and you look further in, you pull out what seems to be this uh, conch shell. This conch shell that has these kind of radiating colors on it, and almost this rainbow pattern, and these very elaborate. You know, when you see the spikes on those larger shells sticking out, and it is a beautiful specimen that, from its size, from its color and shape, it must have come from somewhere deep in the ocean, some you know, a mollusk untouched for years and years. And as you touch it, you get this distinct sense of a magical property to it. Can you see that, Julia?
I can.
All right, yeah.
Oh, I see. This is something that they gave me to communicate with them. Uh, the reason I bring this up is because, well, like I said, the last time Jackie was seen was on North Base, so
Hmm. That is worrying.
yeah, very worrying. And uh, the reason I haven't been, well, telling Fukuro and Shiruku is because, well, he was acting as a spy. I don't know how much he's told about secrets that Joni has, and It's such a mess. But I do think we should investigate North Base no matter what. But I don't think we should go alone. I think we should go to Fukuro, talk to him about our concerns about North Base. We could go investigate, but obviously I hate to keep things from them, but we'll have our own reasons for being there, if you catch my drift.
Yes. Have you tried using that shell? I suppose not. Would
No,
you?
I haven't. Should I?
Well, it seems like it's an opportunity to perhaps learn what happened to your friend.
Suppose. I think all it does is puts me in contact with Yume, if I had to guess. But let me use it. Let me see if if they have something else to tell me, something more. Okay? Give me a moment. And she's gonna she's gonna tap into it, and I see here that it has the sending spell attached to it, right? So
Yeah, well, if you cast sending through it, you can cast a message twice as long as you usually could with that spell. Though I don't know, does Musuka have sending?
oh shoot. Wait, do I have sending? I think I do.
Because if not, then you may just have to wait for them to call you.
Oh, I see. I understand. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't something that I can use. I think I get it. They use this to contact me. I can't contact them. Damn it!
I suppose that means they see you as someone useful.
Yeah, they do. I think it's only because I'm close to Joni, and I suppose the reason they went to Jaku is because I said no. Damn it. Let's talk to Fukuro, okay?
Hmm.
I think we can trust them at the very least because I mean, they are good people, and I could tell they're not happy with anything that could have possibly happened at North Base. Please?
Oh, I thought that was the end of the scene.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So yeah, we move forward
Yeah.
to the next scene as this pair manages to track down Fukuro. I don't know, is Fukuro with Bijutsu and Shiruko right now, or on his own?
I assume at least he's with Shiruku. I don't know if Bijutsu's with them.
We'll say you three are all together just to make things easier. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you see Peyton and Musoka approaching you. I think Rom has left us.
Yeah, he had to
Mhm.
go back to work.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
Yeah, right now Jin is powered down. He's recharging.
Yeah. Well, I think Usoka would walk up to them and just say, so we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room, right?
I was not aware that we had elephants on Haranu.
You know what I mean.
No. Sorry, I don't.
Well, you heard what happened to what was his name? Brown Mange?
Yes, I was the one who told you that.
Yes, and it's just that, well, we're me and Peyton were talking, and we're a little concerned about what's happening in North Base right now.
Fukuro is in the middle of doing whatever he's doing, and he just laughs. Welcome to the club, my friend. I was on guard duty there for half a year, and I still have no idea what's going on there.
Should I mean, should we do something about it? Should we investigate? Should we? Would it be
Don't you think if that was possible, I would have been doing it already?
you? You're saying you've tried?
Of course I tried. I tried for the whole 5 months I was on guard duty to figure out what exactly was going on there. I was personal bodyguard to one of the lead scientists there, and I still wasn't able to figure out the damn thing.
So it's kind of impenetrable, is what you're saying.
From the inside, on the correct path, yes. Though I would not recommend the incorrect path. It is incorrect for a reason.
And what reason is that?
You mean aside from all the armed guards with all the cannons that would probably kill you?
Wouldn't there be more guards at the main entrance?
There are guards all over the place in there, and most of them are golems.
Oh, that seems harder to deal with.
I believe that was the point.
Robots don't have the hesitation to shoot. It's in their programming.
Also, you can't talk them out of it. Well, you might be able to with Jin, but I don't think any of them have the programming that Jin has.
Yeah, good luck trying to do that.
Now, of course, theoretically, if we were like the true kingdomers and somehow had this technology to hack the golems and make them write weird messages on the walls, that would be a different story.
I still think that was a social engineering thing. That's usually what happens with this kind of shit. It's only very rarely that it's something with the actual technology, and there's a fucking traitor of some kind.
Exactly.
So, just throw your hopes and dreams of there being some magical hack solution to this.
But the golems, they can't be convinced by words, but what about by authority?
You're saying if we had the proper clearance, or somebody with the proper clearance.
Yes, or of course, a fake version of such clearance.
That would not work.
Are you certain? Golems, they...
Yes,
So they use magical seals or something then?
they have magical detection.
So if they saw a writing from a higher up, they would immediately know if it's true or not.
I don't think it's exactly writing that gives them pass. Most of the golems that were on guard duty when I was there wouldn't have the capacity to understand writing anyway.
But what if they had a message from the Khan herself? Would any human guards be susceptible to that?
The human guards would, well, if it was believable, they would probably program the golems not to attack you, yes? Do you have an idea in mind?
Well, I am up to a challenge.
Well, personally, I have been studying writing a lot myself recently.
Look, you can all do all this crazy investigation shit. I've already been thrown into enough hot water with this thing already, so if you want to investigate the creepy base, you do that. I'm here for the mission I was slated to be here for.
It won't be much of a mission if 5/6 of your captain crew is gone.
It is important for us to be on this mission, you do realize.
I'm talking about your ideas with North Base. What part of that didn't you get?
Part where the mission doesn't start if we're not here.
I'm starting to have second guesses. I mean, if we're leaving for the mission tomorrow,
That's not exactly a whole lot of time to go into this, so if we want to do it later. I don't understand what's so hard about this.
Well, the fact that it is definitely curious. I get the feeling, too, that, well, our friend Brown Mange, his case was very, very, very unique. I don't think even now you would find any other living creatures being tested or questioned. Not unless things have drastically changed. I didn't get to see everything going on there, but I got to see enough to realize they were working with machines, not humans, or tabaxi, or sirens, or
Well,
They
that is
didn't-
where all Haranu's technology is coming from, isn't it?
essentially.
They didn't exact. Brown Mage didn't exactly say that they tortured him. They just questioned him. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we're jumping the gun.
Oh,
Oh,
I think there's.
I- God,
I think we're not jumping the gun as such, but whether it is feasible to investigate or not, that is another question.
I think Shuruku hit that nail on the head. In North Base suspicious? Definitely. Do we have time to investigate? No.
Exactly.
Believe me, I would love nothing better than to be able to go in there and figure out what's going on and ask all the questions I want to, but not today.
Yes,
Considering you. Go on.
or perhaps
God is trying to speak, people.
No, I don't want to interrupt anyone, but I feel like this scene has kind of come to its conclusion. You guys, after this pitch discussion, finally decide, well, you wanted to investigate North Base, just don't feel like you'll have the time, especially to get all the setup you'll need to be able to infiltrate it properly. So you decide to sort of resign yourself to preparation for this impending mission.
Can I do something?
Of course.
This was how I was going to end it if we didn't go to the others anyway. So I feel like Peyton, being very stubborn, would, without the others, would try to sneak out and would relax. It's not what you think.
Okay.
And would start making his way towards North Base, but sort of after an indeterminate amount of time, that whatever's most narratively convenient, he sort of he stops, just sort of in the middle of the forest, maybe while the Iron Terrace is still sort of vaguely sort of still visible far behind him.
Yeah, kind of through the branches of these cherry trees, you can see dots of light beginning to be illuminated along the full height of that tall spire.
Ah, God damn it! And he turns around and goes back again.
Turn around and you go back. You guys, you've been provided with accommodations, with provisions for meals. It's not until late in the evening that one of the people, one of the sort of junior officers, or actually probably a recruit, whom you had asked about Kinsei earlier, actually tracks down Fukuro and Shiruko and says, "Oh, excuse me, you were asking about Commander Kinsei earlier. He's actually just come in. It's a bit of a coincidence. It seems like he was asking after you, Fukuro. You and anyone else you think needs to be privy to your mission. He said those who can be trusted. I don't quite understand that."
So at this point, is the whole group together, or
Probably it's late enough that you've like just retired to what chambers have been provided for you, and I think this is high profile enough and you're important enough that they've given you each like individual officers chambers instead of putting you in a bunkhouse.
Yeah, so they're nearby, but not in this conversation yet, unless we have to make a decision about that.
Yeah, that's right.
oh, I believe that will be the 6 of us. He looks at Shiruku, who I guess he's nearby because he came to look for both of us. Does Jin count as? Should we bring the robot?
I suppose that's up to you. If you feel like you need extra security for the meeting, I don't know.
Oh, not for security, just to bring the robot.
It might be good to have this information in his memory banks. I'm unsure, but I've heard golems have better memory than people do sometimes.
We'll
Aye.
bring Jin.
Sure.
All right. Where does he want to meet? Or did he say?
Yes, he told me to bring you to the officers' mess. It's technically been closed now, but well, from what I understand, you and the commander will be able to meet privately.
Good.
Yes, very good.
I'm guessing we're going to get the whole group.
I don't see why not.
Me either,
Hell
but
yeah.
I'm just asking to make sure.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, you assemble everyone together, finally take them over to the officers' mess, which probably looks a little bit nicer than this, but I feel like it's the closest tell that I have. There's Anto Kinsei. And he says, "Oh, my, you've got your all of your compatriots with you, don't you?"
Well, we thought it would be good if everyone knew the information. This is our central command structure, as it were. If there's anyone, if there's anything particularly sensitive, then you can make the call.
Of course, that's fine. That's fine. If there's one thing I've learned, it's to trust Fukuro with discretion.
Well, I was told to bring only those I can trust. And if I couldn't trust them, why would I be bringing them with me on this mission?
Of course. This isn't actually quite as sensitive as all that. However, given your recent run-ins with Sangyo and what we discussed the other day, I think that this information will be relevant to you. So this this mission is not strictly on the record, but I've had a couple of agents operating on Kanoka, digging up what they can there, experimenting, discovering what they can find. This is something I already had ongoing, but it seems quite serendipitous that their report finally came back to me today. Now, tell me, are any of you familiar with an IDB, an inter-sovereign direct broker? I don't blame you if you're not. It's a pretty archaic part of international finance.
I mean, it sounds like a load of political bullshit, so no.
Have any of us ever heard of it? Just out of curiosity.
I'm sure you can roll a history check if you want to.
I mean,
I'm going to explain it anyways.
If it's financial related, Shiruku probably might have heard of it.
Yeah. We'll say that he has a passing familiarity with it. But Kinsei continues. Well, inter-sovereign direct broker, as you put so indelicately, Bijutsu, it is, shenanigans. Bullshit, if you like. It's a special designation, a type of incorporated entity authorized by Kanoka, by the Council of Khans, but there are very strict limits on the assets and production of a company that's incorporated as an IDB. It must be directly vouched for by multiple Khanates, and they must express that they have a vested diplomatic interest in this company being able to operate unimpeded. So, what this means is that no matter where it is, which Khanate this business is operating in, whatever borders, instead of operating by the laws of that particular Khanate, it agrees on it operates on an agreed to set of rules by all of the signatories to the inner sovereign direct broker. And now, one of the side effects of this is that they are not subject to any oversight by the council or by Kanoka. And as I said, very strict limits on assets production. There's a reason that you don't see every lacquer company in the Scythe trying to incorporate as an IDB. It's usually used for financial middlemen, the Chi cartel. As I understand, 40% of the registered IDBs are used by the Chi cartel. Anyways, what all of this rambling is getting onto is that we have found there was an IDB incorporated during the first half of the succession crisis. Now, it was signed by Renbo, Alot Dagger, Chuzumeka Reef, and Exile's Point. But what's even more interesting is that it had some authorized account recipients. This means agents who are authorized to conduct business for the IDB. And included in that list of names are both Sangyo and Toshiro Sakuma. I think both of those names should sound familiar.
Oh, all too familiar. That son of a bitch.
Well, Toshiro Sakuma, son of the late Ujitake Sakuma.
Oh, sorry. Bit of a hair trigger around that sort of thing.
Yes, I know of him.
And the name of this company that was authorized as an IDB, an inter sovereign direct broker, is the Onyx Venture. Does this name mean anything to any of you?
Yes, we have heard that name somewhere before. Where's that name from?
Well, where is that name from indeed? From what we could find, their headquarters are part of the Merck's Acre on Kanoka. That is in the region of the city of Khans that's governed by the Hook. A lot of mercenary organizations operate out of there. That includes the Golden Katana, that includes the Blazing Lanterns. Now, it's very strange that the Hook is not a signatory to this IDB, even though this is supposed to be a Hook based mercenary outfit. And what makes this even more bizarre, what these IDBs are usually used for is to act as a middleman for handling sums of cash. They have no assets of their own. This IDB seems to be involved in transporting trivial quantities of slate. And I mean trivial. It's hard to imagine how you could even run a profitable business transporting as much slate, as little slate as this one is. There's a reason that you don't see mining companies, don't see any production companies trying to incorporate as an IDB.
That does sound suspicious.
Means that there's probably a lot of stuff they're trying to hide that they are actually transporting, and then the whole slates thing is just a front.
Yes, I believe we did encounter a member of the Onyx Venture on Kanoka.
So you have interacted with them. Good, bad, neutral?
He was acting as a guard for the Rainbow Embassy after the incident involving all that whole guild.
There's another authorized recipient on here that we tried to investigate, did not come up with much, but one Latu Lavea. she appears on record as an independent contractor, though what we were able to find is that she's actually registered as the asset manager for the Wave Crash charity.
Oh, great.
Now, we couldn't get good records of their financials. That's sort of the nature of IDBs, but of the few receipts we could obtain, they seem to suggest that the lion's share of the payments made by the Onyx venture were going directly to her.
And, well, do we know anything more about her? Or do you know anything more about her?
Unfortunately, we couldn't find much. She doesn't seem to be based on Haranu. We'll keep looking into it if we can, but I thought you should know. See if this ring a bell for any of you, especially the time that the two of you spent on Kanoka. It certainly seems that this Sangyo is more than just a brute.
Oh yeah, he's a right annoying bastard.
That is true. Although he is also a brute. He did impale me.
How are you doing, by the way, Shiruku?
I guess Shuriku just lifts up his shirt a little and it's a big scar. Well, not
Yeah,
scar.
probably like bandage still.
Yeah, bandage.
Oh.
I'm getting better.
Well, that's not the only thing. We also were able to recover. These my agents didn't even have to do much work on. They were being freely handed out on the streets. These, and he passes over a couple of these pamphlets. And you look at them, it's full of this sort of anti-Haranu propaganda. A lot of things about how they've been deliberately trying to undercut Kanoka. But he points your direction, directs it to the back where you see a small symbol, what you recognize as the logo of Kingdom Publishing House.
I expected to see that, I have to be honest. But this isn't one of the ones we saw being printed.
No, this isn't one of the ones that you saw being printed. This is a new one.
What are they
Oh, so
claiming
they
this
got-
time?
Oh, son of a bitch, they've got tracks.
I know the full details of the mission have not technically been declassified, but it's sort of my job to be the most knowledgeable guy in the room. You infiltrated Kingdom Publishing, didn't you?
Aye, we did, Commander. It was a interesting place. There were copies of that playbill, the one that Lady Haranu had us shut down. There were also a book, what was the book called? Shit. The Truth About the Last Occultist, I believe it was called, and there was also
Election notices about Jiantin.
who had not anywhere even close to announcing his candidacy.
Huh. I also read in the classified report that you gained passage to Red Bow on one of Jantin's ships.
Yes. And perhaps one of the more startling things about the publishing house in light of recent events is that Changok appeared to be involved.
He was the owner, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
Had an office in there and everything.
Do you have any speculation on what exactly the tie is between Jantin and Changok? How they're working together?
At the very least, Jiantin is definitely a destabilizing agent in the Khanate. Whether it goes further than that...
It's possible that he just wants Jian Tin to take over as mayor over Zanshek for many reasons.
That would be a thorn in Joni's side.
Oh my. We discovered other things, and these are very difficult for me to parse. Now, I've been informed that you've been told about SJT Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We've made some discoveries about them. Well, about how they spend their money. Some things that were actually publicly available in the records on Kanoka. First of all, that they are contributing large amounts of money towards Falling Blossom's current legal battle against Togochi Masamichi. I don't know if you've read about this in the international papers.
Maybe you remind us about that.
Uh, yes, well, it's right now there's a big a big case, and it'll essentially decide whether or not slavery can be maintained in non-slave khanates.
Ah, yes, I did read about that. Serves Masamichi right. I hope one of them punches him in the face, too, for no particular reason.
Now, SJT Trust is also donated to several Kanoka-based initiatives that aim to put greater oversight on the Chi cartel. Let's see, and he flips through some papers. Demand greater accountability for worker conditions. All it looks like very humanitarian causes.
So you're saying, sorry, forgive me if I misunderstood. Gentin is in the legal case. They're sending money in the opposing side against the against legalizing slavery more.
That's right. That's right. They're funding the fight against Masamichi. They're funding the fight against the Chi cartel. Now, I'm trained to be a cynic. The best analysis I can put together is that because this greater oversight of the Chi cartel would slow production, raise costs, that maybe it could be some kind of a retribution towards Haranu. We know that Juntin and Narihira Shoni were allies, maybe something about how the Khan shut Juntin out of the harbor, took over the automation industry. But even then, that's a weak hypothesis. The majority of Hiranu's chi comes from Reflight K, and they're not part of the chi cartel.
It is also surprising, well, Jiantin's activities often seem to amount to little better than slavery himself. The Wave Crash organization is hardly.
Sounds like to me like he's trying to cover his ass in the public eye.
I mean, we were on that ship, the Wave Crash ship. They tried to drug us.
Unfortunately, the most common perception of the Wave Crash is still what they claim to be a charity to help sea orphans, even if that's far from the case.
Well, they have connections to the purists, and to Changok, and to well, a lot of other people who would probably want to see sea orphans not doing so well.
Or not see them at all.
Sounds like I should kick ass out of spite and make them have to taste like irony straight down their throats.
Oh, be just
Oh.
so. I'm sure you'll get the opportunity eventually.
If only it were so easy. We would have done it then.
The last thing we came across on SJT wouldn't have even added it to this report if it didn't seem to occupy so much of their energy. That they made a fierce bid to try to buy this Exiles Point based company called Chloe Consultants. Are you all right?
Yes, yes.
We're fine.
Yes.
Fukuro looks at Musaka and Peyton. What do you know about this company?
Well, remember we know that they're connected to that big ship, the Adipota and the Podi split. I forget the name.
Antipodean Splendor.
There it is.
Yes, but we all know that, and you're the only two who gasped. Or coughed.
I'm sorry. My health isn't what it used to be.
Fukuro narrows his eyes.
I think I caught a cold from Peyton, honestly.
Oh, for the
Oh.
love of... If I'm going to
Of
trust...
course, he's an old man. I can understand that. At any rate, very odd. It seemed like there were even allegations of threats being made over this. At any rate, since these are all things that you seem to be exploring, things that have intersected with your mission in sometimes very drastic ways, given the events of the past few days, you should know. One more thing. This may be the one that troubles me the most, at least in the short term. We discovered something that Khan Daisheng, the Khan of Renbo, has named Lu II as his heir apparent. Actually, from what we found, it named Lu II as his heir on the exact same day that Lu allegedly fled Renbo. Not sure what that means. There's a lot here that I don't quite understand, and I don't like being in that position.
That would explain why they were trying to make him marry Rinka Nijo.
Yes, that did seem to be part of their plan from the beginning. Although, the timing is suspicious.
Well, I'll leave these dockets here with you. I have my own copies. Right now, I have many more things that I have to attend to before I can get my own night's sleep, but understand your big missions tomorrow. Good luck
Yes.
to all of you.
About
Commander.
that, you, as you said before, you think of yourself as the most knowledgeable man in the room, correct?
Well, it's my job to try to be.
And how long have you been working for the Khanate again? I'm sorry, I'm new to the Vanguard. I don't know everyone personally.
For 15 years now.
15 years. I'm pretty sure we're going to ask the same questions, Seb, so I guess I'll ask it. So, we are going to Hanto. And, as we all know, the Khan's sister also is an important figure on the island. Now, for understandable reasons, Joni herself is troubled about speaking about her sister, and, well, I think we were hoping that as someone who knows things that maybe they shouldn't, that you could provide information on Osu. Because, well, we'll be heading right into her intrigue. And it could be important that we know enough about her.
Oh, well, my. I have to admit that when a lot of the larger amounts of the more portentous events in this whole sordid saga occurred, that was before I was really active in the Vanguard. Many of them I was still a teenager, maybe even younger. So I don't have the insider knowledge of that, but I have records and I have my own studies. Osu was a beloved, uh, beloved figure on Haranu at one point. Was very popular, and well, there was a lot of acrimonious feeling, particularly within the family, but even among some of the populace, when she was married off to Khan Da-en of Hanto. It was very much a transactional agreement, one that was widely seen as squandering her talents. And as I understand, there was such resentment such bad blood that she broke off all communication, broke off all ties, completely severed herself from her family, that the gunpowder shipments that Diane would send every month were emotionally closer than anything that she'd offered, though family is still living on Haranu in years.
So,
I see.
well, what kind of advice could you give if we were to actually meet her? Or maybe, or deal with her in some way?
Kind of gets in closer and says, Hanto is perhaps one of the tightest places information wise. From what we can tell, it seems impossible for anyone to get a spy in there, to get privileged information. So most of what we know of Hanto now is conjecture. Da-En was wildly paranoid, and if anything, it seems that his wife has adopted his critique, his patterns even more so. We suspect that Da-En is dead. It's possibly been dead for years. Now, understand this is all strictly off the record information. None of this is official. Nothing that you'd find in an official roster. But we believe she's been operating the island as an independent sovereign for a number of years now. We believe that she has sanctioned certain forms of piracy, that Hanto's Grey Ji Chang ships sail partly at her direction. Gunpowder production, well, gunpowder export has effectively ceased from Hanto. However, from reports taken at a distance, smokestacks still in operation. We believe that they're still involved in gunpowder production. Now, what they do with all that gunpowder, if they're just keeping it holed up on their island, we can't begin to guess. So I would say your best bet, strategy wise, honestly, is to try to go unseen if you can. It's hard to imagine a situation in which they'd offer you a warm welcome. But your target isn't really Osu so much as it is, well, the Red Vanguard, Cal's forces, is it not?
Yes, but it pays to be prepared. As you say, Hanto is very secretive. I'm sure they will not like it. Well, either us or the Red Vanguard intruding, and well, it could end up in a kind of three-way battle if as you say we were to be noticed. It remains to be seen how dedicated Jangok himself is to stealth.
Well, in that case, let me give you more of a macro political assessment. It is virtually certain that Da-En viciously oppressed his own people, and we have little to suggest that anything has changed. Those who are most oppressed are those who most learn to love their chains. If you wish to operate on Hanto, if you feel like stealth will not work, I would advise you not to rely on the goodwill of the oppressed, those who would likely be too tired or too afraid to fully aid you. I'd also say don't make an appeal to authority that will see you instantly as a threat. Go for if there's anything like an upper class, anything like a privileged class there outside the halls of authority. Those who might have something to gain from an outsider. That might be a stronger bet.
Someone
Hmm.
possibly related in the business or something like that. They're probably not a noble. I see what you're saying.
Yes, of course, the hope is that we don't have to actually go to Hanto, but well,
Sometimes shit hits the fan and you just have to adapt.
yes.
Well, it is getting very late. I have very many things that I still have to do. Good luck to all of you.
Ah, Commander. There is one other thing I'd like to talk to you about, though. It may take a while, but quick question.
Yes.
How much do you know about North Base?
Uh, well, North Base is outside of my purview. SSC does not operate in North Base. It's not part of our intelligence apparatus. As far as I understand, it's mainly a research facility.
I figured. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't out of the loop.
All right, well, if that's all, truly this time, good night.
Good night,
Good night
Commander.
then.
With that, you are all left on your own again. As you ponder this odd news and the morning ahead of you, the start of your journey, let's go ahead and take a late break. Feel the lingering sting of that pain, even though it happened days ago now, as you stand alongside the rest of your compatriots on the docks here at the western edge of the Iron Terrace. You can see Setya's Courage, this ship that has been very interestingly jerry-rigged. You can see that there are actually reinforcements periodically along its hull, as if to handle the new implements that have had to be added. It still has masts, but the masts have been cut to about half height, and seem to be there seems to be no place for the sails to actually attach anymore. And indeed, you get the sense with how heavy this ship is. With these, it actually has like these wings to either side of it. They almost look like pontoons, though they don't extend fully like parallel with the ship, almost like they would go to pontoons, but it's supported on either side. It looks like this thing would be very slow, not very aerodynamic with all that's been added to it, if not for the engine housed. And what you can see is this casing through which there are regular pulses of blue light. You see that your crew, those who you selected only days before, have assembled out here on the dock, and the one of the engineers going over with Bijutsu, the siege weapons they've added, a ballista, and one of their experimental static cannons. Does that sound right to you guys?
Yeah. That was the consensus, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep.
really.
Well-rounded
Our mobile boys.
and adaptable.
All right, very good. So, at about this moment, you can see the sort of de facto leader. You guys are the leaders, of course. You're the captains, but the sort of almost foreman of this squadron. And I know that I kind of briefly played them earlier, but since this is your squadron and you're kind of going to be controlling them mechanically, I want you guys to tell me about this person, this squad leader. What are they like?
Ooh,
First
interesting.
of all, how about we have the squad leader be a woman?
She's a lady.
Down with that?
Sure.
I think since she's the mobile squad leader, she's very she's a little like I don't know, she's a little ratty. Like she's like very like just you get the sneaky vibes from her. Anna, you have any other ideas?
She has an eye patch.
Just an eye patch.
I was about to say that.
She has really curly hair, and like whenever she's on sneak mode, she puts them in like double buns. Hmm. Does she have a name already, or can we name her?
No, that's up to you to give this person a name.
Ooh.
And or any personality features.
Ooh, this is tickling upon one of Zori's personal weak points.
This is. I'm getting some choice paralysis here.
Wait, are we still talking about making the person?
Yes.
Yeah,
We are.
They're left-handed.
left-handed.
Right.
I like
Okay,
all these
well-
details just being shouted out.
She wields her weapons backhanded. Like, instead, like if you were holding a dagger, usually you'd hold it forward. No, she holds the blade back instead.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, she does it right.
Or like, I think like for a sword, that's a little bit more unusual. So maybe her chosen weapon of choice is
Now,
or well, actually, the weapon is listed there in the mobile squadron thing. Let's see, what is it? What does it say on here?
I feel like she needs to have some
scimitar.
quirky personality trait, like
Yeah, we can say. I'll let you guys decide what kind of sword she has that she wields backhanded. I can add
How-
another possible legendary action on there.
how about she likes to read poetry to the rest of her squad?
You're just
Ooh.
trying to make him make up poetry now.
What kind of poetry?
Her own.
No, but I mean, what themes does she focus
Yeah.
on?
Genre?
Oh,
Haikus.
Haikus!
Like, is she a
Limericks?
love poem kind of person, or does she write poems about battle or about history or?
Yes.
I think being a mobile leader, she should have a personality that's very like she might be a little aloof, but she also picks up on a lot of like key things. Like being aloof, you wouldn't expect her to get a lot of social cues, but she does.
So like she's aloof but kind of an empath.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got some outfit idea. I think that, like, probably she would be almost, like, completely covered, like, clothes-wise, head to toe, but it would definitely be very, like, very breathable clothing, very close-fitted, like, her armor's very nice looking. And maybe she's got a little bit of, like, maybe a bit of, like, a elaborate red pattern in there. Oh, and she's got just one earring hanging off of one of her ears.
I think she should be as a mobile squadron leader. She should also be a bit of a fitness freak. So she's up every sunrise, jogging along the deck of the ship.
She makes up the whole crew that way.
Is that what the haikus are about too?
Yup.
Just like the feeling of working out?
She
No,
thinks of
man.
her-
The haikus are for her to wake them up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that thing like I don't know what I've been told, but instead
Yeah, like
it's a
that,
haiku.
except haikus.
Sorry, we did this to you, Ron.
Yeah, you should never have done this. You should never have let us do this.
And I think her name should be Mizuku Asuga.
You
It's just like I looked up
you-
a lot of Japanese names, and they tend to mean like Mizuki means water moon, and then Asuga means swift like the wind.
Sunrise on the sea. Get your asses out of bed now. On the deck in 5.
Yes.
Yes!
I love her. I love her.
You can just tell that Nye and I are just making our plans to draw her, like, in the near future.
This is the best NPC since Old Sneelock.
We haven't met her yet.
Yeah, Mizuki Asuga. Now I'm not sure. Am I gonna play this person or are you gonna play this person? Because you guys are gonna be controlling the squadron.
I'd be
assume-
okay with playing.
I assume you would be the voice, we would be the actors. If you will. If you will.
I'd say that's up to you guys. What do you think?
Wait, do that voice again. I want to try to impersonate it.
Was I doing a voice?
Yes!
You kind of just did a nice voice there, like when you were saying like get your asses up by 5.
Well, he was just using the voice that he used for fuck, what was her name? I can't remember her name. But he's used the voice before.
All right.
I command this squad. That is why they are so fresh. Check it out, my droogs.
No, that's the voice he used for this. That's kind of like the voice he uses for the siren, but just toned down a bit.
Yeah. Makes sense though. She's aloof yet an empath. I enjoy. All right, character creation screen closes.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, I say that when I'm steering her, I'll do it in third person. But this person, who finally introduces herself properly as Mizuki Asuga, just expresses kind of formally how excited she is to be undertaking, to acting as sort of the foreman for this squad under these captains. And she also tells you the squad is actually fairly newly formed. They're still learning how to be cohesive as a unit. And in her experience in past posts of command, what helps with that is for them to adopt an identity, adopt not just a number for the squadron, but a name. She asks for your suggestions. You're the captains, after all.
A suggestion for the name, huh?
The name of the squadron?
Yeah, or even just this group as a whole.
I think we were going to go with Akira's Avengers for the squadron, but the group of us, as the 6 of us, is going to be Sotsu 6. As a memento to the 2 recently deceased people that Changok murdered because he's a dick.
I like that.
I like that too.
Mhm.
So Sotsu 6 and Akira's Avengers. Excuse me.
Yep.
I like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to rename this squadron to Akira's Avengers.
Yes!
Sotsu 6. I miss Sotsu.
And for a session.
I love him and I miss him a lot. I
Yeah,
be with him.
she seems to smile respectfully at this. Says that she wishes that she could have met Akira personally. She's proud to take this mantle. Akira's Avengers. As you are loading up onto the deck, you see the Lord Colonel of the Terrace, Jae-Sun Ton, actually appears out there on the decks with you. He says, "Hey," he kind of gives a little bit of a twirl to his limp mustache. "So this baby, this can travel very fast. The trick about it, though, is it only has about 8 hours of juice at a time before you gotta let it recharge. But it should be able to get to you to Hanto in probably 2 days."
And letting it recharge is just as simple as shutting it off and anchoring for the night, correct?
Hey, pretty much. I'm not an engineer.
But I am, and that's why I'm here.
Exactly. We'll be counting on you. Excuse me. I'm dreadfully sorry. The wizard.
Oh, Peyton.
Uh, yes?
Are you going to be joining this outfit?
Yes, I am.
He's with me. He's a trusted friend, and I'm actually very sure that he's going to be very useful on this mission.
Yes,
That's
and
why I brought him.
General Sotsu approved before his untimely passing.
Oh. All right. Hold on, give me just 20 minutes. I can get something fast-tracked for you.
Ooh, goodies.
And I think that while Peyton's sort of out in public right now, so as to not draw too much attention to himself with his wizard robe, he has like that grey cloak wrapped around him that I mentioned earlier. But I think he also has like a straw hat, not a wizard hat, not a pointy hat, but like a straw hat.
And Fukuro is wearing his basket hat now.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll say that he collected your information. It comes out once more, and he kind of holds up his sword and kind of places just the hilt of it right kind of in the center of your chest, Peyton. And then he takes this little pin, this little sakura blossom pin, pins it right to your lapel, and he says, Jeremy Peyton, with this, I hereby name you, fast track you as a junior recruit of the Vanguard. Officially induct you into this crew.
I thank you and accept this induction.
All right. Salute, Junior. He kind of gives a salute, the 3 fingers at his brow.
Peyton sort of mouths, heaven's sake, and he just with like a split second delay, he finally gives just like a half-hearted salute.
At ease. Hey, I think you'll go far in the Vanguard, Junior.
Do you really think so, sir? Why, thank you.
With that, it seems that your ship is fully loaded, has all of its supplies. Bijutsu, you are there at the engine, kind of starting it up. You see the whir of it as there are these more vivid flashes of blue through the grating.
Ah, yeah. Now we're finally in the zone.
Your crew mans their posts as you begin to pull out from the dock onto the open ocean. Can see behind you the colonel still giving his salute.
I wonder if his army's getting so.
I kind of tap Peyton on his arm and just say, "Why don't you salute back, Junior?"
Medusa probably has one hand on the wheel and the other hand doing the salute.
Peyton gives Musukao like the deadliest stare.
Fukuro kind of comes over, gives him a pat on the shoulder. That was actually the fastest recruitment I've ever seen. Well, when the Lord Colonel wants something done, he gets it done.
I think it's well deserved.
Though I'm not sure he would have done it if I hadn't mentioned that General Sotsu had approved it.
I'm not entirely sure why he needed to be a Vanguard in the first place. It seems like a formality to me.
Oh, definitely. Still.
So, as junior recruit Jeremy Payton and the rest of you head off into the water, you can sort of feel the G forces of this, the sheer power, the sheer output of this engine cutting the water below you, watching the prow of the boat almost seem to skim and bob on the top of it. At the moment, you still feel that chill, but it's a fairly clear day, one of those kind of cold blue clear winter days. And there's something almost refreshing, invigorating about that gust, that steady rush of air past you for about a minute before it gets too much and you find yourselves having to bundle up against this wind and sea spray. But as you take on this open ocean, let me go ahead and switch the map.
Oh, fun. I'm getting some nostalgia here.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah.
So you are starting off right there, and you'll be able to travel 160 miles today.
Jesus Christ, we're almost there.
Yeah, though, not as the crow flies. You can't sail over the top of a landmass.
Like, can't we just barge through a loft decker? Who needs it anyway?
So I want to ask, one of you guys set the route and tell me which way you're going.
I did
Where's
this
our
last
destination?
arc, so I think I shouldn't do it.
Where's the destination again? Which one of these islands? I'm trying to find it.
Hunter.
There she is. Okay, thank you.
Hard to see.
There she blows.
There she blows.
I was about to say that. Damn.
I don't have the greatest seafaring.
I will tell you, this you would know as seafarers, that kind of this central path is sort of where the trade routes run. And out here is sort of outside the main trade routes, but there's no reason that you need to stick to the trade routes. Sometimes it's even preferable not to go through the high traffic areas of the trade routes.
I almost feel it's probably best to stay outside the trade routes. I mean, it's not like we're gonna be too stealthy on this mission, but at the same time, we don't want to catch too much attention. With our big ass fuck you motorboat.
Yeah, having to deal with traffic would just be a pain in the ass.
Might be a little more dangerous out here, but I think we can manage ourselves. I see. Who just made that? Accepted? Yay.
So you're sailing kind of out there and then through the edge of the hook and then into the skull.
Where's this? Edge of the hook, and then to the skull. Yeah.
All right. I like that. So here's what I'm going to ask for. I'm going to say one of you guys take the lead on seafaring. You can probably pretty easily work out who that should be. And then one of you just roll a straight d20.
So what's your seafaring?
Nothing.
5.
I think it's Jutsu.
And
Or-
yeah, and then you get a +2 crew bonus too.
Why am I always the character who's really good with the boats?
What else
I don't know, you
cares?
tell us.
How do you have a +5 anyway?
Part of the whole marine specialization thing I picked out for the character.
Yeah, your
Okay.
characters are always shipshape.
Get him out of here.
Also, for that person who has to roll the pure d20, that's just anybody?
Yeah, just anyone.
Not me. Anybody but me.
I'll do it. Julia has great luck.
Hold on a
Talking to
second.
them.
I managed to mess up something with my Roll20 chat.
Oh no.
So
I mean-
that's my seafaring, and then that's plus the crew bonus.
Yes.
So plus 8
That
and
would be
plus
a
7 in total.
1d20 plus 7.
And here, I'll roll my d20. Oh,
Well, that sucks!
Ooh, yeah, that's not the world's best.
oh man.
And what's the d20?
8.
All right. An
Okay.
8. So, and then could I have one more person roll a d8 for me?
Leighton, Ace there.
Go on, Junior.
Come, I did a lot of this last arc, so I'm giving the opportunity
Right.
for other people to do it.
Alright,
Okay,
Ace there.
okay, I can do a D8.
Yes.
Woo!
Woo!
Maybe not. I don't know.
An 8. All right. So, as you are sailing out into the open water, it actually feels remarkably clear, remarkably smooth. You feel as if you are making good time. You're deciding to stay away from the trade routes. And indeed, as the next 2, 3, 4 hours go by, you hardly pass any other ships, and those you do see are distant points on the horizon, their sails bellowing, looking like little flickers against the blue sky of the horizon line. If anything, with how much Bijutsu you're able to kind of handle the operation of the ship, of the engine on its own, with only a few people helping you, it seems like a lot of the crew have the opportunity to be fairly idle. As the hours go by, you notice them kind of breaking off into little groups, into little cliques. It is maybe about 6 hours into your journey. You see one of them, this very burly armsman, who is just wearing this thinnest tank top, even despite this chilly weather. He sort of sidles up to the forecastle, towards where most of you guys are operating. And he says, "Aye, excuse me, captains." Why does he have that accent? I don't know.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, me and some of the lads been talking. We were put onto this mission, but we haven't been told very much about its exact trajectory, its exact aims. Well, what exactly are we doing?
Well, what have you been told? Just so we get a reference.
Well, we know that we're sailing to Honto, that we're going to do something there, that we might end up taking fire from an enemy ship. It's a little weird, isn't it? We haven't been told exactly what our target is, exactly what our mission is. And here we are on this ship with its magic engine. I mean, none of us have been into North Base. None of us know what goes on in there. We're not going to be, say, engaging on some kind of an occult hide and seek scavenger hunt, are we?
Mm, Well, I'll be honest, we're not entirely sure what we'll be doing either. The aim is more related to the. You were there a few nights ago. The attack on the manor, yes?
Yes, I was there in the crowd.
Has to do with that. And more specifically, the traitor vanguard who somehow managed to infiltrate our ranks.
It's just taking on the traitor Vanguard. You know, I can't abide a traitor. I can't help but keep thinking. I mean, you really got the right to call them traitors? Well, it certainly seems like the North Base are doing plenty with getting all this chi from islands that reflect the moon. Weren't they our enemies not so long ago? When did that stop being the thing? What makes Archon not a traitor? How can I be certain that this ship isn't on some traitorous mission? Because we've been talking, and it seems like things just ain't adding up.
Fukuro kind of turns to Shiruku. This requires more charisma than I could ever have. That's your expertise, my friend.
Oh, Fakura, I just love that you're putting things on me. Well,
Look, man, he has a -2 to charisma. What do you want him to convince these people?
hang on, I'm just gonna get my argument together.
Look, me and the boys from the rear flank, we've had reservations about this ever since it was first announced. And look, the fact is, they projected it, they broadcast it over the whole city. They know we're coming. It seems like if we're rushing right into it anyway, it's because whoever put this together, whoever really is pulling the strings here, which you're making it sound like it ain't you, knows something, is desperate, it doesn't care about our safety, doesn't care much about the integrity of the mission. And frankly, the fact that we got this magic hocus pocus ship came out of some kind of a black box at North Base, well, I don't know what to think. And the fellas don't know what to believe. And we're wondering if it might be a duty upon us as patriots to not just stand back while who knows what goes on here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I can see the concern. Oh, are you ready? If you're ready, go right ahead.
Well, go fun. What we can say is that the Red Vanguard are going to attack Kanto. One of their key aims lies on the island. Now, what we are preparing to do is to prevent that from happening. Now, whether it is now, as the fact is whether they are on the right side or we are on the right side, that is a very, well, that's a question all soldiers must ask themselves at some point. Now, Joni, she is the Khan of Haranu at this point. And the Red Vanguard have definitely been responsible for, well, most recently, the attack on the manor, the slaughter of many of the slaughter of some of your fellow Vanguard. Their methods are never admirable in all of our experience with them. Now, as to North Base, I cannot claim I know as about this ship or what it is, just as you. But, well, it is a ship that goes fast. And that is what is important in this time.
Look, there ain't some kind of voodoo behind it if that's what you're concerned with. I've checked this out and it's up to standard. It's nothing that I haven't It's the same sort of stuff I've been working with. You don't need to worry about this thing.
And if the Red Vanguard are successful in their mission, well, from all the reports, all the information that we do have, it will not turn out well for anyone. Least of all Haranu.
I'm gonna say, because I don't feel super convinced by your argument, but you still are getting help, I'm gonna say go ahead and roll persuasion, and I'm not gonna give you advantage, but I'll let you add a +2 for Bijusu's help.
Sure. Yeah, it's hard to argue when, like, oh, the con is also shady. I can't just say, oh, she's great. Truthfully, but oh well.
Yeah, you see that these two people who were kind of on either side of him back down, and this guy at the head kind of steps up and says, so what? We're supposed to just roll right into here as fast as we can and just throw ourselves into this full force because we know the other side is bad. Morals be damned whether our side is bad or no.
We know that if the Red Vanguard is successful, there will be, well, a great measure of chaos and death, probably.
Look, if the Red Vanguard were in charge, I wouldn't even have this job in the first place.
Yes, and
So I know that if I had a choice between the two, I'd go with the one that would actually kind of care about my well-being, comparatively speaking.
Besides, all the things you hear about Joni from like what the golems wrote, it's all bullshit. Listen, everything that anything that Joni does that's possibly, I don't know, shady. Thing is, do you really think that she's working with what, demons? Like ghosts, whatever the hell they claim that she's working with? I mean, come on.
Well, no one tells us what's going on in North Base anyways. It's all a big smoke box. You open up, you don't know what's coming out from inside, but and he looks back and he can see that at this point, well, a few of the crew are backing him up at first. Now no one else is behind him. He says, well, I guess that kind of thing is above my pay grade anyway.
if it turns out that Changok is in the right, I'm sure he'll love it if you just swim over to his ship and join him.
I mean, given that the man has been running around murdering people willy-nilly, I find it hard to believe he's in the right.
I mean, he literally impaled a man through with a katana and threw him down into the flames. That was pretty damn gruesome. That guy was a pretty nice guy, too, even if I knew him for all of, 3 hours before then.
Can I speak as a Mizuki real fast?
Sure.
I think Mizuki would step up and say, the name of this squadron is Akira's Avengers for a reason. And, well, the name of their squadron is the Sotsu 6 for a reason. This Changok, he's... Even if both sides are gray, his side is...
Okay, I get the point. I'll get back to checking the rudder. How's that?
Sure. And listen, if there's any other concerns, just come to us. We don't want you to be in the dark.
All right, you got it, Chief. And he doesn't really seem convinced, but he seems like, like it's not worth it to him to try to press this anymore.
So, as soon as they all leave, Fukuro turns to Musoka with this, the first time, actually legitimately angry look on his face. Have you lost your mind?
What?
Oh, Joni isn't involved with the occult. She's not bad. Of course she is. To some extent.
Well, I mean, not that she's not associated with the occult, though.
Fukuro kind of looks around to the others who weren't in that secret room moves in closer to Musoka and says, "Were you paying any attention to anything she said down there at all?"
Yes, she told me to not tell anyone about anything that she told us in that basement.
Yes, she
And
did. That does not mean we can lie to our crew. Do you know what happens when you lie to your crew? They figure it out at the most important, most critical moment and turn on you. Haven't you ever seen a play?
how would they know? We're the only people in all of Haranu who knows that sort of thing.
Changok knows. The man who we are coming here to face.
All right. I guess I shouldn't be selling her as an angel, but still, I just feel that you know that everything that the papers are writing is bullshit. What's
Of
wrong with
course.
saying that?
I mean, it is, but what the golems were writing, well, it was partially true, at least. He regains the usual smile. Sorry, I just, little stressed about all this.
All right. I'm sorry for maybe I didn't handle that as well as I could.
To be fair, I wouldn't have done any better.
He is right about one thing. If we are fighting Changok, it will be almost like throwing their lives away. We will need to be more clever than that, I believe.
Yes, confronting him directly at his full strength would be suicide.
How nice of Joni to only provide us with one ship. Let's hope Changok only has one ship.
Yes, but it's the best ship that we could ask for. Well, aside from that one Western legend about a stone ship, but that can't be true.
I think I heard a little bit of something like that, but it was the kind of stuff you'd hear about in, like, fantasy novels, and Lord knows that I'd only be reading those if I was especially smashed.
No one is judging you.
You have to do a lot of things to cope with school.
So, as you kind of work out, debate the morality of misrepresenting or the ways you can represent your leaders, you keep the ship going steady another couple of hours before you can see Bijutsu, that brilliant blue light from within the engine slowly dim until
Look.
the entirety of the ship drifts to a stop after 8 hours of constant movement.
Looks like it's time to bed down for the night, lads.
It's still afternoon at this point. However, you can see that there is a fog upon the sea, a marine layer that is growing denser, chillier. You can actually feel it climbing up on your skin.
Since it's night,
It will be night.
Will be night. You know what? I'll wait till if anyone else has something to do.
No, I think Fukuro's going to go hang out with the crew because he wants to get to know them, and also that's the kind of person he is, to be honest.
I like that. I'm gonna say, and I'm not really gonna give you like a negative consequence for this if it goes poorly, but roll either a persuasion or a performance check, Fukuro.
My bonus to them is the same. It's -2.
Okay.
Why is that on GM only?
Well, it's not bad.
13
Yeah.
is
You spend the afternoon. What do you think you do with the crew? How do you pass the time?
I guess it depends on what they're doing. But If they're just hanging around, talking, whatever, I guess Fukuro just hangs out with them.
Yeah, hanging around talking. There's probably a card game or a mahjong game going on somewhere.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Bijutsu has cards.
So yeah, you spend some time getting to know some of your crew. You feel that you grow a little bit closer to them as the afternoon turns to night and the fog becomes even more dense around the ship. And as it does, you can see something. Those of you who venture out into the deck at a distance, there's a pulsing light. It doesn't start until it's pretty dark, but it's situated kind of partly in the sky, seems at a distance. It kind of and then dims and then dims. You can't make out the source through the fog, just that the light is shining. It seems to be situated somewhere off several hundred yards to the west of you. Almost looks like a lighthouse, the way that the light pattern is.
To the west of us.
I imagine Fukuro sees that and he goes, "How is there a lighthouse in the middle of the ocean?"
A what? Oh.
How far away did you say it was?
What's that?
How far away did you say it was?
It seems like several hundred meters off to your west.
Does it look like it's getting closer?
No, it looks like it's staying at the same distance. And your ship is kind of staying in the same place. You're not really, drifting off course. I think you've weighed anchor and you're kind of just staying in this same place.
Oh, wait, Fukuro has a spyglass.
Ah,
Spyglass.
Fukuro takes out his spyglass and looks in that direction at the light.
all right. Now, it's going to be hard to make out anything with all of this fog around, but so I'll say make a perception check. It would be with disadvantage for the fog, but it would be advantage for spyglass, so just straight.
Oh.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, and I ain't rolling because I know what's going to come up and I ain't breaking another spyglass.
You don't see shit.
Even with the spyglass, it's too foggy.
Perhaps Musaka could swim out there.
By
If-
herself? A terrible idea.
Sirens are at home in the sea, aren't they? Not?
Yes, but well, I don't know what kinds of measures that boat has. What if they have sirens on there too? Wait a minute.
Is there like some kind of universal ship communication thing?
Well, you would have your flare guns.
Do we want to do that?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Is there any light or anything coming from our ship that would, if it was a boat, they would see us?
Right now, I don't think so, unless you want there to be.
Well, I assume we're all not just walking around in the pitch darkness, right? Not all of us have dark vision, I assume.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there are probably a couple of lanterns on here. I'd say it's up to you if your boat is fully illuminated or not.
Enough that people wouldn't fall overboard, yes.
But not enough that it is also misty, so
Yeah,
I think it's worth
it's
being
not like there's a lot
extra.
of crew on deck. So we're probably just carrying a lantern with us, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because if we shouldn't alert them, I don't want to alert them. If they are them, if there is a them. All we know, this is a mass hallucination.
I don't expect you to use that, and that the formatting came out really weird on Discord, but just want to show that I've got my flare code ready.
It's night, right?
What's that?
It's night, right?
Yes, it is.
And we haven't slept yet.
No, not yet. It's probably getting closer to sleepy time.
Yeah, I think Peyton has been sort of half asleep, and he sees what's going on, and he can't be bothered, and he just pulls his hat down over his eyes, and goes back to sleep.
Play a full-on Indiana Jones. All right.
Old man.
So you guys have decided to ignore this light for now?
I do think we should keep an eye on it at least. At least have someone on watch.
Yeah, I think we should have people at least, on deck, like like we always do. Like we've
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
maintain a watch, make sure that nothing changes about this light.
Yes.
Yeah, easy to do with a crew as big as yours. So you maintain watches. Eventually, it starts to get late. Maybe you start drifting off to the corridors. You don't really have your own quarters on a ship of this size. It's more of a collective bunk deck. But as it's getting late, Musoka, you feel as if you hear this crystalline ring, like someone striking a wine glass that seems to keep reverberating and reverberating. It takes you a second before you realize that it's coming from your shell, and it doesn't seem as if anyone else is hearing it.
Is there anyone around me right now?
Uh, if you don't want there to be,
I don't
We're
want
all
there to
asleep.
yeah, you're
be.
you're on your own.
In that case, I kind of tap into this magical little ring, and she goes, "Hello."
And that was when you hear Yume's voice. Exiles Point. One of the last places Jaku was sent. An agent is retracing his path. Curious incident. Storage facility owned by STL, contracted to a number of local businesses, raided a few weeks back. Burglars human, but had invisibility engine, static device. Stay aware.
Okay. And does she like get any indication that she can respond or no?
Yeah, you think that you can respond to this.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my map real fast. Where's Exile's Point?
Up here.
Oh, there it is. Interesting. Okay. What the hell would he be doing up there? All right. She closes her eyes, and I'd imagine she'd be like she could do this in her mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, um, okay. She says, I will keep track of this information. Do me a favor. Keep me updated on Jaku's whereabouts. I think the only question she would ask is, were one of these companies the cloak consultants? Thank you. Keep me updated.
And you don't get a message back, but you feel as if the shell almost feels like it rings or vibrates slightly in your hand. in a sensation that you're not sure exactly how, but you get the sense is an affirmative, is a yes to that question.
Oh. Very interesting. So these humans had invisibility engines, huh? Does that sound familiar to her? Like, does that sound like I do remember back from the raid on, like the fake raid on the harbor. There are these nearly like black, like dark silhouettes on the horizon, like running away. Like, that doesn't sound familiar to her at all?
Well, I mean, you've seen sort of invisibility based devices a couple times in the past few days. You saw General Sotsu use one, and you saw that sort of specialist squadron that you had the option of choosing experimenting with one. Or at least it seemed to be like one of their devices sort of half unintentionally caused all of them to suddenly go invisible and then reappear.
Okay. Um. Right. I think that she would. She has like a journal or something, right? Like she has
Yeah.
something. Yeah. I think she would write all this information down. Um. Per. So this storage facility was. They said it was owned by the STL.
Yes.
Right. Does the STL sound familiar to her?
Vaguely.
Oh fuck. um. Okay. Okay. For now, she's just gonna continue to keep an eye on the what's it called, the light, and she'll just think to herself for now.
Yeah. So you take this on. Slowly, most of you fall asleep. Your crew takes turns keeping watch on this light in the distance. It doesn't change throughout the night, and eventually it just sort of fades. But I want to ask, does anything else happen this evening? Before you go to sleep or while you're sleeping?
Musaka, do you want to do our dreaming thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, yeah. After that, okay, yeah, I could do it. So, I think I would go up to maybe Shiruku or for Fuguro and talk about how, well, remember when I talked to Jonine and said that I could check on Lou the Second?
Yes. What about it?
Should I do it tonight?
Uro looks at Shiruku. Should she do it tonight?
Probably. I believe it's a good use of resources.
Yeah, better now than doing it too late, I guess. Okay. I just wanted to get an okay from you two, considering you know, Lou the Second isn't exactly the most secretive uh kid.
Yes, as
Obviously. Mhm.
Lou would say it, it would not be very poggerous if something were to happen to him.
What is a pogger?
I have no idea.
Well, either way, I'm I'm gonna keep our conversation brief though. I'm gonna try my best to only ask if he's okay. I won't tell him any information, obviously. So
If you can find out where he is, that would be nice too.
yeah, I'll ask him that. All right. So with the dream spell, uh, now I know how it works. Okay. So Musoka, uh, I think she, instead of like kind of sleeping, she would kind of like sit in a crisscross formation, like on her bed, and she kind of like start preparing the spell because it's late enough. She'd assume that he's asleep. Hopefully, I don't know. Some of these Twitch kids are night owls, but
Stream right now. Well, if they're letting him stream right now, they are very shitty kidnappers.
Yeah, really.
Hi, I'm live on Twitch from I don't know where because I've been kidnapped.
I've been kidnapped, but just hit that subscribe button. Twitch Prime. Oh no. Okay.
So, as you kind of allow yourself to fall asleep, enter the dreamscape. Hold on a second. Let me find.
Oh my god. Oh.
You opening your eyes on this bizarre landscape. You can see this black void full of multicolored twinkling stars stretching out into these rainbow roads, twisting about as far as the eye can see. You can see little, you're not sure what they are, carts, wagons, unlike any you've seen before, regularly dashing in and out of each other, weaving all around. And then sort of floating in the center of it, just seeming to vibe to this bizarre music you hear playing to it, is the figure of Lou II.
Oh my god. Masoka's just like squinting her eyes like, what on? I don't have time for this. Okay. I think she would kind of float over to Lou II, and is he like? Are his eyes open right now? He's just vibing.
He's kind of vibing, but he does notice you as you approach, and he's, "Hey, Siren Lady. Hey, pretty lit dream, huh? Live dreaming." Hey, I'm in a live dream.
Yeah, this is certainly a lively dream. You're right on that. Lou, can I ask, how are you doing?
Oh, I mean, shit's lit when I'm here. I'm not here. It's kind of less lit, but it's pretty cool right here.
Well, let's just say I'm someone who can talk to you about, well, anything that's going on outside. So, why don't you tell me, what's happening to you right now? Is there anything bothering you? Anything that's not poggers?
Oh, when I'm not here, like when the dream ends and I gotta press F, yeah. Oh, Pepe hands, man. It's not too cool.
Were you hurt outside of here?
Well, what I'm in this little room. It's real sketch. They won't let me out. They've transferred me to a couple of them, but it feels like I've been on the water the whole time. Half of it I got a blindfold on, which, that sucks, right? And they told me that I just got to put up with it for a little while, and then I'd get to walk outside, I'd get to go back home, and that was a fucking lie. And sometimes a couple of times I heard Changok and Hanso talking to each other. Sounded like they had some real beef, man.
Real beef. Tell me. Spill the tea? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you got it. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay. So I think this is exactly what they said. And sort of apparating into the dream with you are the figures of this sort of dark lacquered warrior who was identified to you as Henso, and the intimidating figure of Changok. Almost intimidating, except the Henso's lacquer seems to have like more of these day-glow colors. And while Changok is mostly dressed the same, you see he has these almost oversized, like Kanye shades that are bright yellow.
Right. Okay.
And Henso speaks first. He says, "What were you doing? Striking in the north? The Twilight Vale? Wasn't part of the mission. It's pretty sus. You know the Komuso are verboten under council laws? I mean, TFW, the council found out that we hit the Komuso? Feels bad, man. It risks the entire thing." And Cal, he puts on his rejoinder. "YOLO. We need the council to act. But if they do not discover that this happened, if there is no one to tell them, well, everything is Gucci. All those sent on the mission were mercenaries. And I've made sure none of them are able to talk now. Debated." And Henso, he replies, "Can't believe I have to work with such a cringe edgelord like you. Besides, they agreed to meet in a Melayari outpost. They didn't know that things weren't strictly above water. Careful. You know, we're going to be meeting Hannah out there. And she doesn't like that. It was hard enough to twist her arm, pull strings to get this meeting. You just keep in your lane. All right. And don't pull any more of these fast ones when we're on a collective mission. Because I know that you are the best follower of orders, that you're always discreet, that you're always agreeable. Kappa. Look, forget this. The mission was a success, even if we didn't make our way all the way to Dosima. I want to ask you. You know what I asked? You had any luck finding Emiko? I work for Cal. I'm not your lackey. If you and your bogus fiancé have got beef, well, that's your mess. You know, if Sanyo had done his job properly, wouldn't have had to go after Lou at all. No. This is an opportunity. Lou will tell Hannah all about how he was kidnapped when we get him to the Dragon's Fate. And how we do that? He defected himself. The boy's gone through a lot of trauma. Memory is fuzzy. I have ways of helping him to remember properly. Servant told me where Leko sent the golem. Compartmentalization is how we keep our mission strong. Our mission. The Major Domo's mission. Indeed. And with that, the vision of these two phantoms disappears.
Wow. Lou, you got some amazing information there.
Yeah. Feel like one of the best things about me, photographic memory. Sometimes people don't like hearing the truth, but hey, I'm based like that.
You have photographic memory, you say? I mean, seems like it. That conversation was too detailed for you to be misconstruing things. Oh. Lou, do me a favor. As a Pogger's friend to another Pogger's friend, huh? Keep your ear out. Keep listening to these things. Believe me, when you get out of this whole mess, it's gonna be useful. Okay?
So you're not coming to rescue me right now, then?
Oh, we are. We're gathering information to try to save you.
Oh, nice, nice. All right, all right. So, like, in a couple of days, or?
It might be longer than that. We do. Oh, I meant to ask. Where are you exactly? Do you know? You said you're on a
No,
boat.
no. I've just been inside boats. Haven't had windows.
So they're keeping you in the dark on where you are. So
Yeah, I was in
when
one boat. Then they put a blindfold on me and moved me to another boat. So,
were you able to see how big the boats were?
I mean,
Or
the
no?
first boat, which was pretty big, but that was when I went down that line.
Right. So, but everything else I'm sure you haven't seen. Okay. Well. Oh, I have a quick question for you. How long ago was this conversation?
Oh, that was on the first boat.
That was on the first boat. Did you hear anything while you were on this second boat?
No, no. I've been on my own most of the time.
Okay. Makes sense. And are you feeling they're not mistreating you, are they? They're feeding you. They're
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm eating. Just, still a prisoner on a boat. Feels bad, man.
feels bad, man. I know. I feel bad for you. We're gonna get you out of there. I'm gonna be your dream buddy to help you kind of cope with this whole situation, okay?
Okay. Dream buddies. All right. All right, that's tight. That's tight. Okay.
Oh, and might I say, I like your dream. What? These are interesting wagons?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I heard this story like pipe workers. Pipe workers are a real big thing on Haranu. So like, what if you had this pipe worker who went on all kinds of crazy adventures?
Oh. Is that red one? The one with the red hat? He looks like a pipe
Yeah,
worker.
yeah.
Ah. What about that giant you see that dinosaur looking thing? It's like green? What's his story?
Oh, I've read about the Isle of Juniper. They got dinosaurs there.
Yeah.
I mean, how lit is that shit? Never seen a dinosaur myself, but I've always thought, like, what if you had a dinosaur, but it was a friend?
I like the thought of that. A nice dinosaur. It's like there to protect you. It's like a big guard dog. But
Yeah, yeah. And maybe you can ride around on its back too.
ooh. I'm sure it could go faster than any of those carts.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then it can eat the other ones and turn them into eggs.
Why would it do that?
It's a dream. Don't try to shade me.
Alright. I don't mean to spill your tea. But alright, well, I'm gonna head off, but I'll check in with you tomorrow night, okay?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. Okay. All right.
Alright. Remember,
Looking
keep your
forward
ear
to that
out.
rescue. Okay.
Don't you worry. We're on our way. And
yeah, as you leave this dreamscape, as you enter back into the waking world, the darkness of your chamber, you can see the gray light of dawn coming in as you ascend up to the deck for the last half day of your journey to Honto. And with that, go ahead and end this particular session.